Give me 1 second. Should be. Mic check, mic check. Give me 1 second. Mic check. Gotta go to the. Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome to the stream. Alright, what's up, you guys? Welcome to the stream. Today. Oh, shut up. Movie. Alright. Today, we got another episode of KB Talks. For all the new people here, the way this goes is broken up into 3 sections. We start off with gaming, then we move on to movies and streaming, and then we finish with anime and manga. But today we got a guest called DJ Hatred, so I'm gonna bring him on the screen right now. You.
What's up? What's up?
Alright. Is everything clear?
Yeah, it's clear, loud and clear. Got the Birdman hand rub.
We already know. So the way we start off is the talk about the PlayStation Plus games of the month.
Ugh.
You already know. Team
I remember there's a time where there wasn't really so much as such a thing, versus like, what incentives should we give gamers for subscribing monthly or whatever?
Back in my day, it was free.
I don't know about so much as free versus like they're only free when you're a subscriber, but they would definitely literally more so free on Xbox, even though each one is like a paid subscription like thing. So it is free per se, but not free in the sense because like if you were not a PlayStation Plus subscriber or Xbox Gold as it used to be, you didn't get anything. So it's one of those things where it's like you kind of still had to sign up.
I think
for a monthly thing. So
I think it started with the 4 and the Xbox.
I could have swore they had some. I could have swore they had them on the PS3 as well, for sure. But
nah, because you had it wasn't PlayStation Plus back then. You could just
It was still PSN though.
yeah,
It was still PSN,
but
but the Plus came later, as
you
if
was
that changed anything really.
you was just able to just play.
Right. Well, yeah. Well, shit. Yeah, because it was free to play online back then too.
Yeah,
So
but
no longer cheap. Everything costs more money out nowadays. It's
but
a business, though. Not really a business in gaming, but if you're a professional, yeah, sure.
so the free games of the month for PlayStation are Jedi Fallen Order, Fallout,
Oh,
Fallout
oh,
76, and Axiom Verge 2. I never even heard
I
of it.
forgot about Axiom Verge in general. I now okay, so I always wanted to play the original, um, because I'm familiar with Metroidvania games and the whole like backtracking pseudo dungeon crawler type of thing. Um, if I were you, I would definitely grab the Axiom Verge for sure. You might like it, but if you've never really played, um, you know,
I played Contra.
right, yeah. But so it's like Axiom Verge is more akin to like a I was about to misquote and call it Jet Force Gemini. The game is called Bangayo. And like you also have like a sequel, Bangayo Spirits, but you're more or less you kind of have like this little mech, and it has that Metroidvania kind of thing where you're just in a large space. Um, but yeah, Axiom Verge 2, I haven't seen how it looks, but I'm sure it's probably gonna look a little bit more of the same kind of how like your classic Metroidvanias were, where it was just like an upgrade of graphics with new mechanics like that. And not a fresher coat of paint, but it was definitely better graphically, and maybe a little bit of ease for like controls and simple thing, but still have like a deep learning curve if you're like an expert gamer. Even though I feel like that's such a nuanced thing to be like an expert gamer though.
What was about to say? I see why they put Jedi Fallen Order on it because the new, well, the sequel to the game comes out this year. So
Yeah, but that's still gonna be a whiles away. There's gonna be a PlayStation. Um, I'm gonna call shit a PlayStation Direct. What are them whack things y'all have for your
whoa, whoa,
PlayStation?
whoa, whoa, whoa.
Because I'm
Uh,
sorry, remember Nintendo Direct. So there's the verbiage there, right? Um, because my memory gets really fuzzy because there've been so many.
it's called State of Play.
I'm sorry, state of play, which makes no sense by the way. Um, I don't know if any of you hardcore PlayStation gamers have talked about that in general, but state of play makes no sense in retrospect, and it's not really a retrospect thing. But when you just look back, because it's been a thing for definitely a couple years since E3 has kind of been a long dead thing.
Yeah,
Um, and I remember the days when Sony did or didn't, win or lose E3s, but you have your own video game conference with your respective company, um, was really important. But I digress. The state of play, um, they're definitely organized for like nice video segments, I think, but you know, they haven't been good in a while because of like the game launch schedules and stuff, and COVID is still really bad for game launches. But you're still gonna need to stay to play for the Fallen Order, even though it's not a Sony exclusive, if that makes any sense.
yeah.
But um, they're definitely gonna make it all about whatever special features they have for like haptic feedback or et cetera, and all these kind of things, which might be an interesting, more nuanced, um, particular choice for gameplay. Um, if you choose, I mean, like I don't have a PlayStation 5. I only have a Series X. So I wouldn't know what I'm missing control wise. And you can tell me, I mean, because like Fallen Order, the original came out way before the PS5, was like a thing. So things such as like haptics and all these other kind of things, the original game, has no benefit to that. And there's never been any optimization or any kind of, patch or things to like, because some games have gotten like haptic
They got like
support or
a
whatever.
PS5 version update.
Ugh. I mean, the PC version is still probably the superior version anyway, though, right?
I wouldn't know.
Um, but you figure a game like that could really benefit well from haptics. I think, even though I've never used haptics, I'm just thinking about how the force works and this still being a rumble feature of sorts, where the game it's not haptic, but there's definitely some rumble support, and that kind of gives you still that simulated experience of like when you press the trigger and the controller vibrates a certain kind of way when you're using the force, when you pick and hold and lift things up with the force, or like a force grip, I'm sorry, or like a force push or like a force run. Your controller will rumble and gyrate a little bit depending on what action is being done. So haptics can be really interesting for the PlayStation 5 version, but I haven't spent a lot of time talking to most gamers about like haptics versus like me versus does it still make a big difference? Because I don't know if you've seen that article. um Spencer has, he had put out a poll or something like that, asking Xbox gamers would they want something like haptics in the future. I don't remember what the results were, but it's going to be interesting to see if haptics continue to stay relevant or become a necessity, or I guess continue to be a preference. But I
And
think Star Wars could benefit well from it for sure.
when it was first announced, I thought it was just gonna be a feature like on the PS4, the light bar.
Right. Oh man. You mean the thing that will blind you in the darkness if you're not careful. And I've never, I mean, granted, I've owned a PlayStation 4 for quite a amount of time, even though I owned it very late in its console generation launch. But there's like, I think there's a way you can change the brightness on the light bar
Yeah,
for the controller. And I've seen it change colors, but I've never really dawn on it. I mean, I've never really like looked into that where like it's blue, but
like
I've seen it be like maybe like a lighter orange or red, something like sometimes, I
like
guess.
it
So
it's up to the developer if they use it in
right,
the game. Like if you playing Grand Theft Auto, soon as soon as soon as you get the cops on you, it
right.
flashes red and blue.
That is interesting. I did
And
not know
then
this.
in certain games
It's a
it'll
bit silly sounding though, considering you shouldn't really be looking at your controller versus the game. Not saying that Grand Theft Auto is one of those games where like you really wouldn't want to have that like look at the screen, look at the controller kind of thing, because that kind of makes me think back about Nintendo's older peripheral controller things with like the Wii U gamepad and all those other kind of things, because like it's all still a gimmick, so to speak. But
uh,
I think you and I could definitely probably talk more about that in the near future about gaming peripherals and gaming stuff like that, because like a lot of this stuff kind of still has hung around from previous console generations. um but it's one of those things of like, what do gamers really prefer? Do you remember the six axis thing where you had to that you
oh
turn your
yeah,
controller, and I'm like, bruh, what do you mean? But now most games don't have really six axis as versus the gyro controls. Like Nintendo uses gyro, and some people really, really like it. I'm
because
not the biggest fan of gyro,
I
but that's
feel
still
like
also a gimmick as much as haptics are.
I feel like it's up to the developers,
Mm,
but I feel like with the haptic, more developers are using the haptics than they did the
right.
PS4 controller features.
If I'm
So
not mistaken, though, not to cut you off, I just want to follow up. As I've heard or understood that the haptics can drain the controller's battery, so maybe there needs to be some, not the right word is like optimization, but there needs to be a possibility to give you that haptic experience, but not drain the battery as much. Or maybe there's just no way to like have your cake and eat it too, I guess. But again, not to stay too long on the topic of Star Wars, that is a game that can really benefit well. I mean, I think any game can benefit well from haptics if it was programmed, you know, um, like design wise for like your characters traversal and the in various environments and stuff like that or whatever versus like certain key things like like Horizon for example or Cannon where you pull the trigger and it's like that bowstring resistance or whatever rather than like a full experience. Now granted I don't have a PlayStation 5 so you would have to fill me in on haptics and I've heard that Astro's Playroom took full advantage of haptics versus later game releases. They
Yeah,
only highlight certain features, but it's like Astro, I heard just was like it's the best haptic experience.
it shows you the full capabilities.
Right.
If if the if they choose to fully use it, then you could use Astro's Playroom
Right.
as a bar for what it could do. But
I mean, Astro is a smaller game of sorts too, where it's not like a big AAA and you know what I mean? Again, that may even I wonder, since a lot of games don't really come out finished these days, if a game wasn't really set in stone for a certain release date, and game developers had time to really like come up with ideas on how to use feedback. I mean, I think this should definitely be a development issue, or I'm sorry, development focus, not not the choice of the gamers. Like, hey, what would gamers enjoy versus like which specific feature we think would be cool for haptics. Again, because like when you
like
look at Cal, he uses the Force, man.
like
The possibilities for that could be really interesting.
I forgot what game it was. They was using it for like puzzles. So
Okay.
if if you press it too hard,
Yeah,
it's like you're aiming at something, but if you press it too hard, it'll it'll just drag the whole thing down. And you
interesting.
got to use the haptic to find like the right pull.
Right. Which is crazy because that is something simple enough to have like no need for it for haptics really because like there are games that utilize the whole puzzle thing or whatever um without haptics on things. Game development and gamer immersion and experience had to utilize unique techniques where like since the rumble feature has been a thing ever since the OG 64, sorry, N64, right? I said OG 64 as if that was like an
Uh,
older console. um there was always a thing of like if you were if a treasure was hidden somewhere, it would rumble, the control would rumble when you got close to that thing. So that was kind of sort of the puzzle thing you talked a little bit about, but there were clever ways game developers would utilize finding puzzles, solving puzzles, and all these kind of things. So I think the haptic thing, man. I mean, it isn't like it's the newest feature ever, but it's an evolution from the HD Rumble that Nintendo used, which is kind of hilarious considering that if it wasn't for Nintendo, there wouldn't be a PlayStation. So it almost always seems like there's Sony, not so much as Microsoft, but Sony still kind of going like, what are those Nintendo boys over there doing? Let's copy that thing. You know, like motion controls was a whole ball game generations ago that it worked, but it didn't work. And then certain games use it like the Kinect and the PlayStation Move. And
uh,
oof, I wonder if that's been fully abandoned now since VR is still kind of like more of the thing, but
it,
it's not the same with whatever. But not to get off subject, to finalize for Star Wars, you have a game that's utilizing a unique character with a unique set of abilities in his unique world. You have a Jedi, and you can do crazy stuff with Jedi characters. So something like haptics could be a program to be developed into like some really cool gameplay mechanics. But hey, we'll have to see when the game launches or whatever. Because I wonder, if these developers really aren't just thinking about haptics like they really should, or if I'm just doing the work for the developers as a gamer, like, well, what would I like? Even though I'm not a PlayStation 5 owner at the moment. But Star Wars could be really cool and interesting with haptics, I think. But you would have to fill me in on other games you've played that utilize haptics
Like
or didn't use haptics at all.
the most
Um,
the most notable for me is like first person shooters. Those are
hmm, really?
those are like the best examples.
Isn't it still like this just the trigger pulling though? Not
Yeah,
so much anything else, like any kind of traversaling, running and sliding, or like because haptics it seems to be just like more of like a plain gimmick versus like a really cool like mechanic. You know what I mean? Because like there's always been some kind of crazy cool gimmick all across the board for games. Um, and unless you played a certain game, you missed out on that thing. Um,
like it'll be like certain games where if you're going through sand,
right.
it's a little harder to move the stick.
Mhm,
Like you could feel like you're being dragged through sand.
right.
Or if you're on flat ground, it just moves smoothly.
Interesting. It's strange because a lot, it's not like, uh, and I guess just to clarify here, I don't know if we're done with Star Wars, but just the haptics thing, I just kind of, it bugs me because, long story short, when Nintendo was developing a lot of games around the Rumble feature because it was utilizing that thing, games were developed in such a way where it's like, what cool thing will gamers experience that will create a unique game experience with the rumble, whatever was happening. Like if you're getting shot, the controller would like rumble or whatever. Um, if like if a character's doing something like Nintendo had a weirdness with them where depending on what console you were playing on, you may or may not have access to like rumble if it was like say like the Nintendo Wii or something like that. But there were other things utilized that still work. Like sorry, there was a rumble, but I could have swore there was so many games I played that didn't rumble very much or didn't have like a heavy emphasis on rumble versus like certain impacts or whatever. But again, this still kind of think it related to haptics and related to even Star Wars because like I'm thinking about games where people use where characters use melee weapons and things like that. Um, so it's like I think these game developers got to really or should really sit down and figure that out because like it would seem like a useless feature and just being a thing that drains your controller battery if gamers don't really enjoy it for that much versus like where are we really with gaming immersion because VR that's still not a really heavy thing right now I think but could VR be really cool for Star Wars when you think about it? Yeah, for sure. So I think that game alone could benefit from like everything Sony is really, you know, focusing on because like there's no VR gaming on Xbox, but gamers still enjoy Xbox. I mean, granted, because it's also a preference thing, but we'll see about Star Wars. But regarding your other free games, you mentioned Axiom, Star Wars, and what was the other game?
Fallout 76.
I've never been a Fallout guy. I've always been interested in the games, but
Fallout
there's
is
something
fire.
about the. Well, I'm aware it's one of those games where it's like it's not so much as about the graphical design, not graphical design, but like the look, because the games don't look outdated, but they do have a rough, weird design to them, where it almost has like that classic PC kind of look, like a Skyrim, kind of like that classic, you know, like full 3D thing. But like you can tell from a game's design that um any subsequent entry in that series will not look that much more different from the previous ones where like,
Yeah.
certain character designs for like how they faces characters like move and their mouths walking and talking when you have like question prompts and stuff like that or whatever. But I've heard mixed things about Fallout 76.
When it
Uh
when it first came out, it came
mm,
out it came out horrible. It,
right.
it was another
Unfinished game pretty much, right?
what was that game? What was the one in space?
Oh, nah, No Man's Sky was worse, bro.
Yeah, but it was another one of those.
No
But
Man's
but
Sky
No
was the
Man's
game
Sky
that
fixed No Man's Sky and
this
it's
is
a great
true.
game now. But I haven't played Fallout 76 since it came out,
Right.
so I don't know the changes. I know it was a lot of bugs when it
Mm.
first came out. It'll delete your whole game. Like,
That's probably like the worst gaming bug that can really exist in any kind of game. And that was always one of those things that could happen more so in like newer, more modern games. I mean, you could have a corruption, so to speak, but cloud saves and gaming, modern gaming now is such a, it's almost, it's equally a meticulous, chore and experience, but it was nowhere near as bad wise, like it was back in the day. But but yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, they're free games, free. So if you like them, it's all good, and if you don't,
uh,
you know, no harm, no foul. I will say this though, I'm not a console, you know, like writer, even though I enjoy everything. It's painful that there really aren't any games on Xbox like for this month. And I think Nintendo still doesn't really do that kind of thing. They were supposed to. I do free games. I think at one time, I don't know how much you remember about that. Where I think Nintendo at one time for this, mainly with the Switch generation, there was
I
supposed to be some kind of free
I
games or
remember
something
that.
like that. But I think it just kind of fell to the wayside because the excuse is always COVID, which is and it's a good excuse or a good reason, so to speak. But you know, it's expensive to be a gamer now, much more than it ever really used to be. Um, so there was always something about like, what incentive do I get for being a loyal gamer to said brand?
Uh,
We're not owed anything because we spend money on the console. You may or may not choose to partake in your monthly service, something like that. But it's like you're getting free games on top of that. And if they're good games, a free good game is who rejects that, right? Because like I maybe it's just me. I think Xbox was kicking ass for a minute because it used to be two free 360 games and two free Xbox games. That's four games, bro. Four.
uh,
And those were games you also would download and keep, and you would have them forever. And most of the time, if those games were allowed to be played offline, and in addition to you owning those games, like that made it better. Where like, hey, I have this free game and I can play it offline. That's gravy. Versus like, no, I have to have the internet and I have to have my PlayStation Plus to play this free game. You know what I mean? And I only have access to this game in maintaining a PlayStation Plus. So like, it's free, but it could be stuck behind a paywall. I
uh,
always really thought that was a funky thing. You know what I mean? Um, but I think whatever free game right now on Xbox is sort of your favorite word, trash, right? Um,
yeah,
and I think for Nintendo, there's nothing free really. So I mean, I don't
Nintendo
know, bro.
Nintendo still got games full price years later.
Well, that's the issue with games being exclusive versus first party, because most first party games, they're from home studios, and those games are internally developed and damn near proprietarily made for that console. Even though some games do come to PC and stuff like that. Like, I remember for years, I always thought Final Fantasy VII was just like, that's exclusive to PlayStation, whatever. And then it was like, no, it's on PC, bro. Like, it was on PC this whole time type deal. But gamer brands, bro. Gamer loyalty, so to speak. Actually, uh, not going to argue what it is, but it never made any sense. But I can understand it because, like, if you buy a console, what are the games specifically tailored to experience on that console with the console's specific capabilities? Like, like certain consoles just do certain things well better than other consoles.
Then
Um,
then like you got people who grew up in one ecosystem. So
right, right, right.
that's
It's still harder preference wise, I think, though. Like when you and I spoke before off camera about Kingdom Hearts, briefly, you know, it came out on PlayStation first, you kind of prefer to play it on PlayStation. Of course, way later, you know, there was like some 3DS entries and stuff like that, but your preference maintained to be like PlayStation loyalty. But I don't blame you. I think for a long time it was like that for like Devil May Cry,
Yeah.
um, where I remember even really just I didn't mind playing Devil May Cry on PlayStation. I kind of prefer it on Xbox now. So it's one of those weird things where the controls, the ergonomic design, all those things. But I think free games are nice, but it doesn't matter if they suck. And
Yeah.
I think these developers, or maybe not developers themselves, but these game companies, man, it's like if it's like so if each console has like a large game library and said games could be for free each month, you know, it's like I want to know more about what their process is of like we're gonna give away these games for free that are really, really good, and we're gonna give away these games for free that are really, really bad. And then it's like, well shit, not for me. And I don't know many gamers that do this, say like, you're only gonna be a PlayStation Plus subscriber for those free games. But if the games are trash for several months and you feel like you're not really a hardcore Sony PlayStation like, gamer or whatever, it's like, why do you need PlayStation Plus outside of the benefits of like the cloud save stuff like that? Because I mean, like, those are extra just that are really, really important. But getting those free games, I think, kind of gives you that extra bonus for subscribing every month or subscribing every year or whatever. Like I have Game Pass and I'm good for a minute, and of course Game Pass Plus or whatever that shit is called,
It got
like
the
that gives you the
Xbox
whole
and
go. So like I get all that stuff, but it's like I'm used to just having games, so I'm spoiled. So even if a game is not amazing for like a free game of the month or whatever, by me being subscribed to Game Pass, there's so many games to play. I feel like there's a great counterbalance. I think that's why a lot of gamers probably don't really complain being a part of the Xbox ecosystem, if that's your preference too as a gamer. But free games a month is just a different thing because people love to hear that word.
yeah,
Free
they
this,
hear
free that.
free, they forget everything else.
I'll say this too, and you can follow up before we change the subject. I can't remember the last time I was given a free $5 credit to put toward any kind of Xbox game or whatever. But every so often, at Xbox they give away like $5 here and there, and you know those points. Well, that not those points, but that money will expire. After several months or whatever. But like, have you ever been given any free money from Sony?
No, but they just started this like new thing called
Mm.
PlayStation Stars.
Oh
You earn
boy.
you earn points just for playing games, buying games, and then you could turn in points for like $20
Mm.
gift card.
There's something similar to that on Xbox, by the way, and there's also something similar to that on Nintendo's ecosystem and console as well. Like the I don't know I don't want to say Nintendo coins or whatever, but they have their own thing like that too, by the way. Um, where you earn coins or something along those lines, and that turns into like real currency, but it's still within that, you know,
You can't use it to buy another
right,
company's
right,
game.
which would be hilarious though. But
I I
I
use all
mean,
my Xbox points to buy PlayStation Plus.
that is pretty funny. Uh, but yeah, I mean, like again, like free games, I think that's great, but as of right now, a lot of the free games they kind of sort of suck. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I don't. I used to get really excited about free games with gold or whatever, or well, cause mainly just because like I primarily played on Xbox for the most part.
Yeah.
And like monthly service being a thing for like
Oh shit.
Nintendo not being super new, but a thing. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm always eating good as a gamer, no matter what, if I'm getting a free game or not. So I'm not really, I'm not personally, salty about it, but I am salty because like if I was a PlayStation Plus subscriber, I'd be pretty upset. Even though Fallen Order is dope. Um, like you said, there's a reason why the game is going to be free. Even though I remember, I guess I should probably mention this before. If you are a Game Pass Plus owner or whatever, you get access to EA Play. So
They
by
they
Star Wars being
they got
go
that
ahead.
on PlayStation as well.
Okay, but remember since Xbox did the whole merger, we own whatever the EA thing. EA, but that's the thing was like, yo, if you have Game Pass Ultimate, you get the EA, you get access to all those EA games. So
They got that
even if
with PlayStation.
you mean for like you mean like the new thing, because
We
not before it wasn't.
we
So
if you get, I think it's called PlayStation Plus Premium,
yeah,
you get
right.
you get access to all the Ubisoft games, I think. Something like that.
It's pretty funny
All the
where it's
Assassin's
like,
Creeds, all them extras.
but I mean, at that point though, or I should say, for when it happened from Sony, it was inevitable. Um, I mean, because it's one of those things about like it's not so much as we're Sony, what are the other guys doing, and does that work for gamers? Like, we're not gonna give gamers a bunch of access to, and we're not gonna give gamers access to a bunch of games. It's like, well, how would you know what to play or whatever? It's like, back in the day, we had gaming magazines with with game demo discs. You know what I mean? Where it was like, hey, you can try out this demo for this thing, for this game that's in development or whatever, and that kind of really helps sell games a lot. We don't get a lot of game demos that much anymore these days. I don't know
Yeah,
how long it's been since you went to the PlayStation Store
we
and looked at the demos, but it's like, bro,
we
where these
get
demos at?
we get demos of games that's already out.
I mean, and I will say this too. I understand the demo situation where like it's a game in its alpha phase, not alpha phase, but like it's a game in its beta phase, so to speak. So it's like, hey, there's always the warning this game is not representative of the game in development or whatever. And you're like, yeah,
Like we get a lot of betas, but
it's a weird one, man. I mean, it's like not that the subject was about like the Game Pass, Ultimate stuff like that, whatever. I think it's one of those things. Like just giving gamers access to games to play. It's expensive being a gamer these days. So when you have some sort of subscription though, and you have access to all of these games, that is great. But there's always this pushback lately, I think, from game developers and just game companies, not game developers, but companies of like, why should we give gamers access to all of these games? And it's like, nah, why don't we just tell you to buy this game and you just buy it, or if you don't own it, why don't you own it? And then but as a gamer, you could ask, well, why isn't it on sale more? Which that's a whole nother can of worms with like the whole digital thing, because I think sometimes games digitally they're cheaper um for having access to certain games, where it's like, well, if we say if I want to try this thing, but I don't know if I'm gonna like it. If it's cheap digitally, then cool. But I mean, I just think the Star Wars thing it turned into an interesting conversation for us. But um it's all about just having access to games as a gamer, where it's like, oh, I don't know what to play, or um, you know, I think something we can talk about this maybe later on too, for like the PlayStation, whatever is like, because I think this is a new thing now. It is on Xbox, maybe so much on PlayStation. Like when you play a certain game, they will suggest other games that are similar. Hey,
yeah,
we saw you playing this game, you might like this game too.
they
Um,
like right like say if I'm playing God of War and then
mhm,
you go underneath, it'll be like similar games.
right. Because I feel like that would definitely help. Even if, say, someone doesn't have access to like the free games a month, whatever. Hey, there's this game that's similar to this game, and I may want to try this game. And if it's also not expensive too, because like you know, not that it's a subject, but games aren't that expensive. Much more expensive than they used to be. With like was it Killer Instinct Gold for the Nintendo 64 was $70. That was a game on a
Jesus Christ.
cartridge, bro. Yes. That was a game on a cartridge, a gold cartridge or gold colored cartridge, a gold spray painted cartridge, so to speak. But That game, Killer Instinct Gold, was $70.
I
No
don't know.
loading times, by the way. No
I don't,
loading times. Great graphics on a great console, but it was a $70 for this big ass cartridge. You're
I
just
don't know
like,
if I'm tripping or not, but I remember games being like $25.
it all depended, man. It all depended on what kind of game it was, especially if it wasn't a AAA exclusive, whatever. Because like maybe I'm just getting old at my age, but there was a lot of terminology that wasn't really used back in the day that's utilized now, like AAA, first party. Like first party was definitely a thing that was thrown around gamers a lot that we kind of heard from what developers would say or gaming companies like, hey, this is a AAA game or first party this, but like back in the day, it kind of used to only just be like Nintendo had first party and everyone else kind of had what they had, even if it was an exclusive or something like that. But like no, like first party was more or less like, well, actually no, I'm sorry. Let me not get confused. It was always first party, but the other term was flagship. Like
Yeah, flagship titles.
Nintendo really had a lot of flagship titles like your Mario's, your Zeldas, your Mario Karts. Like not only are they exclusive, but they are flagship titles. Those are games that are guaranteed with the console ecosystem that you choose to whatever. Granted, a lot of games have fell to the wayside and whatever. Like we just got Metroid Dread, and it was a 15-year drought with Metroid. You know what I mean? So that was like a breath of fresh air. Like holy shit, I remember this game. But it's like that's a flagship title. Like when you bought a new Nintendo console, you were more likely guaranteed to get a new Metroid game, a new Kirby game, a new Zelda game, or whatever. But like now it's just like exclusives. Flagship doesn't really matter anymore, and like whatever.
Exclusives became the new flagship.
Not so much because like where's Crash now, right? You remember when Crash used to be the
Listen,
Sony guy, right?
Kratos.
Yeah, right. What's funny about Kratos though is that it's like I think he's a great character,
like
but
for
I don't think he's unique enough for like a brand flagshipy kind of thing though.
like Xbox, you got Master Chief.
This guy. I mean, look, man, Master Chief seems tired now, if you ask me, and he's like a Spartan super soldiery kind of character, but it's like, I mean, like, yo, Halo Infinite came out and it just existed. But like the hype for Halo Infinite was a whole nother thing.
I played it when it first came out.
I own a Series X right now,
trash.
and graphically, the game looks like that's why you probably should play it.
I played it on
gameplay
PC.
wise. Yeah, I mean, but here's the thing though. Did you also utilize an Xbox controller, right? Because not saying it's an Xbox game, so you have to use that, but the Xbox controller is kind of really good for first-person shooters, and that was a whole ball game back in the day too. Like, yo, N64, like, granted, GoldenEye wasn't a flagship thing, but like that N64 controller worked well for FPSs back then. Perfect Dark, Turok and whatnot. Like that controller was pretty dope. The C buttons and everything, and turn it with the stick. It was pretty dope. And then the one button there, for like the trigger, N64 controller was pretty dope for FPS back in the day. It was a weird experience, man. Because everybody used to be around a TV with the GoldenEye, and it did not matter.
Yeah, GoldenEye was that was my game back in the day.
There was no, super elite controller. You just had an N64 controller, and you just went in,
Back in the day, you had to watch out for screen watchers.
Yes, but everybody had the little tape John to block the man.
Yeah,
that shit wild, bro.
Can't look at my screen, cause.
But now shit is easy worse now because you have like kill cams and people that are really good at like memorizing maps. So like you can still get got.
Yeah, you get spawn killed.
If you. But I don't miss it. I mean, I miss playing multiplayer games, but I don't miss it though. But I'll ask you this: moving forward, the free games, right? The free games are for the month.
Yeah.
I forget the exact number of games that came out for the PlayStation 4 because those are the games you guys are gonna get for the next years or so to come for like free games. Even though I think Sony would make out better if they were like older free games to like fill in that gap for what Xbox is no longer doing, like not getting free 360 games anymore really does suck. And I didn't notice how much of a loss it was. Where I was like, the new game, the 2 new games a month is like, bro, these 2 games are trash. And there were so many great 360 games that never became backwards compatible
I need them
that
to.
could have been, a thing.
I need them to start putting PS2 games.
You know what? You're absolutely right. Either that too. I mean, I think that would be better to get like more games, but and even new some two not so old games from last gen.
Listen,
But also
the way
previous gen games
the way
would be
Sony
great.
works, if you got regular PlayStation Plus,
Mm,
all you getting is free games of the month. If you got Essential and Premium,
right.
I think the 16th you get another couple
That's
free
right.
games.
I think I did hear about that.
And
I
then
mean,
then if you got Premium, you get access to like all the older titles that they have so
you
far.
would have to give me your full review on that, more in depth. Um,
Yeah, I probably
because
have to
like,
do that later.
because I haven't talked to many gamers that I know personally about the premium service. Because like I've seen YouTubers and they're kind of like, it sucks. It doesn't suck, and it's like,
Cause
I can't really tell
it's
how to
basically
react from.
PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now put together. Like
I forgot that was a dead thing that didn't work. PlayStation Now, bro.
like I used it the because I got the PlayStation Premium, so
Yeah.
I've been playing like Darkness, Darkness 2,
Oh, you
uh
taking it
Dark
back.
what was it? Dark Cloud, like
That game is rough, yo. I remember Dark Cloud being rough on the PlayStation 2
listen,
back in the day.
I
So,
I played it as a child. I got stuck at one part and I don't know what happened. So I was like, I'm an adult
well, you
now.
figure older games were not so much as hard as they are now versus like back in the day. I think gamers weren't really so much as afraid to be like, let me ask my homie what to do. No, I mean that's cheating. It's like, well, no, we had game guides back in the day. You want to talk about
Yeah,
cheating,
you had the whole book tell you where to
which is
find.
wild. And of course, I feel like this podcast I'm gonna be racking on Sony a little bit, you know. And I think this is not just me, but if I recall, Nintendo started that where they had the Nintendo Power, and it was a Nintendo hotline you could call that would give you tips on video games. I remember this,
Jesus
bro.
Christ.
Yes, I remember back in the day, I was playing Super Nintendo with my brother-in-law, and we were playing Legend of Zelda 3, A Link to the Past. In the back of the game manual, there's a number you can call, and you called it, it would give you tips on how to beat the bosses. And I remember that being something of like, we didn't really call it cheating back in the day. You didn't,
Listen,
getting advice wasn't such a bad thing. But
back in the day, we had cheat codes.
yeah, but a literal cheat code, I think, is something a little different versus like,
Yeah,
here's a tip to
you had the Game Shark and
this
all that.
thing. Right. Oh man, I actually still might have one of those, but of course it doesn't work because it's for the Nintendo Wii, and since the Wii had so many updates with the firmwares,
Yeah.
you couldn't use certain things. I have one of those things. I have the last dying generational breed of that thing called the Action Replay, and it's on a disc,
Uh,
and it just doesn't work anymore because my Nintendo Wii has been firmware updated, where it's like, nah, man, you can't use it because the Action Replay was so dope that it was like some of those other Game Shark games where you could play um non-region. You can play games from other region. Like I have some Japanese games from my Nintendo that are on my Wii that I can't play anymore. Like I have a Japanese Bleach game and some other stuff, and it's like, bro, no, those firmwares kind of just it killed some of the access to games and stuff. But um the free games of the month, I guess that's cool. But moving forward, we'll see what games they continue to give you guys from the PlayStation 4 library. Um, and I think there's like 1,000 plus games, some change, something like that. So there's a lot of games that can be chosen from. Um,
listen,
but
my
there's a lot of
favorite,
bad games too. Like just because like there's 1,000 games, they're all not good. Even for Xbox too. You know what I mean?
my favorite month was last month because every
What did you
King
get?
every Kingdom Hearts game was free.
That's another podcast for another time too. You and the Kingdom Hearts thing, man. I
Cause
mean,
I already
I don't know how much you maybe bored your fans to death about Kingdom
I
Hearts.
already had every Kingdom Hearts game except the the last one that came out because it was like a rhythm game.
Right. Oh, I actually hear it's pretty dope for the Switch. Um,
I played like 20
those rhythm
minutes of
games
it.
are actually pretty dope. Those rhythm games are pretty dope. I haven't played a lot of them, like the Taiko Drum. That's another one of those kind of like rhythm type games. But those games are actually very, very fun for sure.
Yeah. But about to move on to games of 2022.
You mean the no games of 2022? Because
Listen,
there were a lot of games that came out that were not good last year. You and I talked off camera before about one of those games. I don't really have a list per se, but again, I know it's a subjective list. Um, but I was pretty satisfied as a gamer last year because I spent a lot of time playing a lot of older games, and since there wasn't a lot of new games that I played, in a way, it's not that I was saving money because I wasn't buying a lot of new release games. It's like buying several used games here and there, or whatever. Because I utilize Game Pass. I bought a lot of games from Game Pass, and that really like helped out. But it's like a lot of big AAA games and stuff like that, or whatever, or just games that were just new released. There wasn't really a lot that I played last year outside of Gotham Knights, which I really enjoyed. And had that game had came out when it was supposed to, I still would have been satisfied about it. But it's interesting to see how the game's life is still maybe still
it's
happening or
dying
whatever.
out.
Or I'm hearing the game's on life support.
Yeah.
But just rumors and stuff like that. So I can't hold you. Like, don't get me lying. Like, I hear the game's on life support, but it's the internet, man. You really can't not read. So you really can't trust everything you see. But I don't think the game is definitely bad. I don't understand the bad reviews. I think the game is one of those games. It's not for everyone for sure.
The main
Because I'm sorry, I'll let you go ahead.
my main like seeing other reviews, the main problem was they kept comparing it to the Arkham games, and it's not made by the same people.
And I guess to follow up really quickly and let you finish, was Gotham Knights in your list of top games of 2022? Because like I said, I don't really have a list. Because I didn't buy and or play that many games from 2022 versus games that were just older. Because I bought a lot of older games and played a lot of older games. Like Kana, which was 2021, but I played it later. Sifu, I played it. I don't own it, but my gaming experience of 2022 was very. It was very. I'm gonna say it was pretty bad, bro. It was pretty bad.
Like the games that I enjoyed this well, not this year, but the games I enjoyed was Vampire Blood Hunt. It was
Why does that sound so familiar?
cause they made another game just called Vampire.
Okay.
This
Oh,
this game was
I know what series you're talking about now.
yeah, it was a free to play battle royale where you're a vampire. You got different powers, and then you gotta you pick
That sounds so rough.
you pick a certain vampire. Like
Yeah.
each vampire is different, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was
I
fun.
mean, a free to play vampire game doesn't sound bad, but it sounds bad.
It was. It came out during when they was just making everything a battle royale.
Right. Because I'm trying to remember, there were a lot of free games last year. Like, what's the WB joint?
Multiverses.
Multiverses.
That joint was fire.
That game I thought was gonna be one of my games, but when it launched, there was some kind of like sign-in issue I heard, and the game has not died out. It's still alive. It's still kicking pretty well.
The game
I hear
is
the game is still
fire.
being sorted. But
my top character is my top two is Finn from Adventure Time and LeBron James.
Yeah, he was later release character. I imagine he's definitely probably fun to play with, but
yeah, because he just be throwing the basketball, fucking crossing niggas over.
You know what's crazy about that game, yo? Specifically that character for LeBron James. The potential for such a character as he could have been very different because, it's not like it's LeBron James, the basketball player. That version of LeBron James is LeBron James from the Space Jam game. I'm sorry, Space Jam movie.
Yeah.
I apologize. And that's a whole different conversation. But that movie wasn't very good in my opinion, but it had a lot of potential. It had a lot of potential because there is a storyline there that wasn't fully, they didn't fully develop it. They didn't really dig deep. Like that's a whole different conversation. But I guess in retrospect, knowing that LeBron James is a playable character on Multiverses, he should be the best character on the game. He should be. I mean, I don't know if that would make it more fair than like how Bugs Bunny should be way more insane because being he's a Looney Tunes character and you can do all these things, damn near fourth wall breaking Looney Tunes.
The main character,
like, immortality kind of deal, but
the main character I hate going against is the Iron Giant.
I figured it would be a counterbalance for that character in that game. He's very big, very large, I should say.
All you gotta do is pick Superman and just grab him, toss him up, get him out of there.
I imagine Superman's watered down in that game now. Yeah. So I think I wouldn't have any fear. I mean, because even look at not the subject change, but when you look at a game like Injustice, another game that has Superman in it, no, Superman's watered down because like everyone can fight that character in the story mode, and you're like, yeah. And by narrative, default, you would lose said fights to Superman because he's just more powerful than these characters. But
it's a game, so
I know you gotta look at multiverses. Look at multiverses, you're like, But again, the LeBron James character, though, I think, in my opinion, could have been really amazing, and I'm sure he's actually pretty cool in the game. But I think, in retrospect, that could have been a whole different ball game, But yeah, 2022 for me as a gamer, it kind of didn't really exist because I play a lot of older games.
The other games I played was Cult of the Lamb, where you is a lamb who just.
I heard about that.
It was funny. You just make a cult, like you gotta cultivate the followers. You go out, you go out into the world, then you save them, bring them back to your base.
AKA cult. That's why it's called. Okay.
Build your base.
Hilarious.
Then Gotham Knights was on my list, and God of War.
Now you know what's funny? I guess thinking back about 2022, I remember that was it Sonic Frontiers. You know what? Sonic Frontiers came out this year, right? They came out this year, right?
Yeah.
So okay, so that doesn't even count. I guess I was trying to think. Was it Destroy All Humans came out last year? That came out last year, right? Destroy All Humans
2.
Yeah.
It might have been this year.
Okay, because I can't remember. I think that was a game I was interested in for like the 2022, maybe like late 2022 thing. But like, I think there were games, a lot of games I just kind of wanted to play that I just didn't. Like Tony Hawk was a game last year, right? 2022.
Yeah.
Tony Hawk.
I think it was. But they gave it free to play on PlayStation.
But I remember there being issues, so to speak, that I didn't know about. That there were specific console versions. Like I had, because I had an Xbox One last year, even the One X. I'm sorry, before I got my Series X, and I remember I wanted to rent the game just to try it out, see how it feels and everything. And it was like, yeah, there's an Xbox version and there's a Series S and X version. I'm like, this two separates, and it was no free update. And I was like, look, I'm just gonna wait. Like, I'll rather wait to play the best version of that game then. So I never got a chance to play Tony Hawk. So that probably could have been one of my games of last year, but I just wound up not having a list. But truth be told, Kana, Bridge of Spirits for 2021, and I think also game called No Straight Roads was also 2021. Those have been my two favorite games for like the last 2 years. Like hell,
What was I about to say?
adding on Gotham Knights. Like those three games for like the last 2 years have been the best premier gaming experiences for me as a gamer. Whereas like I missed out on certain things, but
Like for me, I wanted
it
the
wasn't bad. So
I wanted to play Sonic, but it was a choice. It was either Sonic or God of War.
see, you're supposed to just buy both games, like some gamers or gamers like me, and you buy both games and you maybe play them both, or you just play one and leave the other one on the shelf in plastic.
But
So
I was playing Gotham Knights, and I finished it the day before God of War came out.
that's right. I remember. I remember. You know what? It's so funny. I'm sitting here saying I don't have a list. There was another game I'm remembering now. There was another game I played last year. I bought it very, very late, but it is. I can say it's probably one of my favorite games. It's for both consoles, by the way, PlayStation and Xbox. It's a game called Chorus. I don't know if you've heard of it, but Chorus is dope. Chorus is like Star Fox, so to speak. It's more
Oh.
arcadey, more arcade flying simulator, like not more arcade flying combat, not like a simulator, but if you play Star Fox, this game is for you. And if it's more or less of like it's not like an Ace Combat simulator flying experience because like there aren't many flying games that aren't really simulated experiences. Which is why Star Fox was always a unique thing
Like
because it had a cartoony or
Ace
whatever.
Combat.
Those games are hard to play in my opinion because you kind of just have to just like those types of games that are more simulated experience for like your Forza Motorsport
I
or your Gran
I
Turismo's.
play Ace Combat if I had like a VR set.
I think if you had the joint, the flying stick or whatever,
Yeah,
I think that's all you would need really.
I went to the VR and the John, so it's like a whole experience.
This guy, not the Segway though. I at one time had a driving stick back in the day. I used to have one for the Dreamcast. I used to have one for the Dreamcast. I used to have a driving stick. That was a very fun experience. I think I would definitely enjoy it much more now with playing driving games. Um, for that semi pseudo experience of like, simulation with like
Uh,
driving or flying or whatever. But I digress. Chorus was really dope. Uh, I wanted to love a game I played last year because I don't really have like a favorites list, but there was a game called Severed Steel. It was good. I didn't love it, but also didn't finish it, so I can't really give a full review. Um, so that's why like Chorus is not in my top list, but it was a game I did really, really like a lot last year. It's a game I recommend for you if you like flying games in some shape or form. Graphically, it's beautiful. It controls flawlessly. Like it's super optimized for both consoles, PlayStation and Xbox. Um, and it has a really dope storyline. It's a little simple. It's definitely wacky as hell. You talk about like, super space fighters type of deal, like it's not like
uh,
not like because not like in Star Fox, there's like super special characters, but no, like this girl has like issues, bro. She has like psychological things going on, and her long story short, her ship is an AI combat ship. And like it talks to you and everything, and it's like, the game,
Cortana.
yeah, it's definitely like that. It's pretty much like not Halo, but you're in like an air combat space kind of thing. But like it's an interesting game. I recommend it, man. I think that probably would have been it probably could have been on your list maybe if that was a game you played. But if you don't play those type of games, I can understand for sure. But
Listen, God of War should have won Game of the Year.
why do you think though? Now and I hear look, I hear the game is absolutely amazing. I'm a crappy gamer who doesn't finish games, unfortunately. Um, but I often speculated, and as I talked to many friends that played the game, I figured the game would be as would
It's
feel
it's
it would
even
feel or appear to be as good as it is because it followed the was it 2018 game?
yeah
Was it 28? So
the
it's like
the
from what from
20
from what little bit I played of that game was good to me. So I can understand why you might say not only game of the year, but it was a great game of the year for you. Because
like
I feel like award shows are so
yeah
whatever now, bro. So
like God God of War 2018 was a solid foundation, and then everything else is just built from there. Like the movement is more smoother.
right.
The story, I ain't gonna give spoilers for people who ain't played, but you see it. You see a real evolution in Kratos
Right.
and Boy and everybody else.
Boy. His name is Atreus. Or as I've been spoiled, whose name I won't mention, but it's like, sure that's his name, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm sure that's important in the story. Look.
yeah. That one part just I was like, Kratos ain't name you that.
In any event, um, God of War looks like it could be a game that could be like a game of the year thing, but like I always imagine games that won game of the year were like unique IP AAA games that gave you something different that year. Like, God of War Ragnarok, it looks like super God of War, if you want to call it that, right? So it's
Yeah,
like it's game of the year, but it's like what did it do different beyond being a good game graphically, narratively, and all these things? You know what I mean? Like did it bring a whole new fresh thing? Because most games that have that usually won game of the year, at least back in the day, like if you ever look at the game of the year games that won previous, whatever, you're talking about um like the Metroid Primes, uh the Witchers and stuff like that or whatever. Like those were all different IP games that were like not super upgraded versions of like a previous game, but it was like, yo, this game was super new and super unique. This is why it won game of the year. But like, look, I get it. If it was your favorite game of the year and it was probably damn good, I can understand. But last year was one of those games where I didn't really look at the whole game of the year thinking it's like, but what games really came out though?
God,
Like, like I was looking at the IGN list earlier, and it's like, bro, these games came out last year, huh? It's kind of
most
weird. Like that's a whole year, bro.
the problem was most of the games coming out this year was supposed to come out last year.
That's right. You know what? You're right. You're right. So Axel, let me ask you this then: how unfair was it to say that then? Because like a lot of games got pushed back, and a lot of games that could have came out or should have came out that year would have made the gaming space better. Like it would have been much more enjoyable to be a gamer last year. Had a lot of games not got pushed back. I'm sure you can say that about previous years too. Um, but yeah, man. I mean, it's like like The Last of Us or whatever, or
I ain't
you
a
know,
fan.
uh, or like the Resident Evil sevens or whatever. And it's like I know that's definitely more along the sequel thing, along with the sequels. It's a sequel
Yeah,
thing along with other games like the God of War. But the weird thing though is that God of War 2018 is such a different type of gaming experience from God of War 3, where it's like I can understand for God of War 2018, maybe, and I can never understand because I didn't really finish the first one for 2018, obviously. But for the game getting game of the year, look, I'm sure the soundtrack is amazing,
facts.
combat's amazing, and all these things. I just looked at it in a way of like there are things that are missing for sure that I have no doubt. Um, and it was like, was it a cool new gaming experience? Yes or no? Boom, and I get all that. But I remember being very upset about games that one game of the year that felt like they were just missing things. To the point where it's like, this may be a new gaming experience and a new story and a new IP, but it's missing game features that deserve to be in a game that should be in a game. Like, even some like example, right? Maybe this is me, but you could tell me, right? You being a fan of God of War 2018, Kratos cannot jump. Can't jump.
Nah.
He's a character that has very strong legs and he has muscles, but there's no jumping mechanic. You cannot press a jump button, and Kratos does not jump.
But
Just saying, it's a game that was game of the year,
but the way
but there
it's
were mechanics missing.
but the way the game is designed, there's no reason to just jump.
What the hell? What do you mean? You're the god of war.
Yeah,
You're
but
super strong. There's gonna be cliffs. There are gonna be, pitfalls and holes and stuff in the ground or whatever. Like, not being able to jump kind of sort of sucks. And again, I'm aware that Kratos has some newer stuff,
yeah,
but like, check it. Even with for older games where certain mechanics were missing, like Zelda games, they added a jump mechanic, yes, in certain later games, but you also had like a hook shot, which was like your grappling hook. So even if you couldn't jump, and even if you could climb on a ledge, you still were able to have this kind of traversal mechanic
and
in some way.
that's what you got in God of War.
Ragnarok,
Both
and
of them, both of
you
them.
could you can climb a ledge, but you couldn't jump, bro. There's no jump button in that
I'm
game.
gonna spoil it for you. Listen, you press X, he climbs up the little ledge.
Yeah, that's
Then
what I'm saying. Like, I mentioned ledge climbing, but like there's no
then
jump mechanic. Remember, you God of War 1 through 3, there was an actual jump button when you could jump and then you could do your air combos. I'm just saying, again, I do like the combat in 2018 because it feels more visceral. It feels heavy. It feels very like reactive. Like, talking about like collision detection. That's like, design program wise where, like, you're hacking and slashing. Like, that is such a visceral hacking and slashing
you feel it when
experience.
it connects.
So it's like, I understand, but again, it's like, bro, but what if I want to jump, right? What if
What
I want to
what
jump?
you want to jump for?
This guy. What do you mean? What do I want to jump for? I'm not saying Kratos he needs to be like Spider-Man to jump over a building. The dude has God of War though. I'm just saying he is strong enough to push a boulder, and all these other kind of things. He's durable and stuff, but it's like, but you like, hell, dude. Even in Last of Us, there's no jump mechanic. Now, granted, I understand there's not a jump mechanic in most
Listen,
survival horror games. I get that. But there's a lot of running and ducking and sliding and shooting in The Last of Us. So I would expect it to be a jump mechanic in some shape or form. And maybe not like a heavy jump, like not like your Mario and you get a hat, whatever, and it's like you're jumping, but it's like, bruh, when you got to solve puzzles and it's like, hey, Ellie can't climb this ledge, right? Or cross this thing. You have to like climb up and then go get this thing and get like a plank or something, or and then you put your hand down and then you pull the character up, and it's like, I know this is a video game, but it's like you want to have some sort of control for these characters because you're playing a video game. The game is interactive. Like, you want to control these characters, but like there's something as simple as like a jump mechanic missing. I'm just saying. Just saying. I don't want to make a whole rant about not jumping, but for a game to be like, I'm game of the year, but then you look at like, what is a unique game experience like? Oh, I'm Kratos and I can't jump. I'm just saying. Just
or
saying.
or I'm a Spartan general and jumping puts me at a disadvantage.
Bro, so check
Like,
it.
nah.
So check it. More specifically, and not so off the subject, but even for like an interactive 3D action game like God of War, say for like the Arkham series, because like you can jump in Gotham Knights, right? There wasn't really a jump mechanic in Arkham versus like, like a parkour system where like you could flip off a ledge, or you could hop over a little ledge or something like that. Like, there's no heavy jumping, but traversal feels more like a thing. You know what I mean? I don't know why they took it away. Like, Kratos is not jumping shit, right? So it's like, bro, I get it. But again, I always get weirded out where certain video game mechanics are just missing. Even in like other games where like, say like not say like not a God of War situation, but it's like, say if it's like I try not to segue, and I'll try not to segue, but I'll try not to forget either. If I remember in the Division when that game came out, if I recall, in the Division you couldn't shoot the windows out the doors on the cars. Like you gotta hide behind that window. You gotta hide behind the door of the car to like use it as cover, but you can't shoot out the windows. Just saying, like there's just like when certain type of mechanics are missing from a game, and that game gets game of the year. I always get a little weird. I'm like, well, why the hell did it win? Like, what type of full game experience were you given as a gamer with this whole new gaming experience and it being a fresh new IP or whatever? Because most games that do definitely do win, they're usually new IPs. Usually, not often. Sometimes there's sequels or whatever. It's like, well, because again, there are some games that are game of the year, and there's some games that have gone into the list of the greatest games ever made, and there's a whole list, like the top 100. Some of those games were game of the year when they came out, but they had things in them that just were like the first Uncharted. You can kind of do everything in that game, like control wise, jumping and running, and well, maybe not running. You can run, but like you can't slide to cover. But I'm not bitching about that. But again, it's like you can still duck or whatever, like the whole ledge shooting or whatever, stuff like that. Like there's still like when if I tell somebody, yo, this game is game of the year, this game is dope, you can do this thing. Yo, man, go play God of War, but you can't jump. I'm just saying. And I think a gamer should complain if I say something like that. Yo, go play God of War, but you can't jump, bro. Just saying.
But
you don't think that's weird? You don't think that's weird?
But while you're playing the game, it kind of like, what's the word? It kind of like lulls you into, you never even think about jumping while playing the game.
I do all the time.
That's crazy.
Yes. Well, no. Because it's one of those things where it's like the previous games, Kratos had this ability to do so. Not like, again, like, he doesn't have any superpowers anymore, but it's like, no, jumping was a mechanic in the original games. And I didn't understand why it was taken away. Like air combos in God of War 2018 now are more so like when you launch a character off the ground, you uppercut them off the ground or whatever, you launch them, and then you do a mechanic. But that's not really an air combo versus it's being a juggle. So there's a whole thing. Because in most 3D action games, air combos are a thing too. But it's okay. I get it. Like there's no air combos in Batman. I get it. There's some juggling. There's juggling in Spider-Man games, but there's also air combat because I knew Spider-Man has superpowers. I get that too. I just, again, that's kind of why I asked, but I also am aware that I didn't play the game. So I'm sure the game is bananas, and I'm sure it probably really earned a spot to be considered for Game of the Year, or it probably just didn't deserve it. But I don't feel like many games really came out to go, this game beat out this other good game, and then you compare and contrast. You know what I mean? Like, it's been pretty droughty, couple gaming years, man. A couple years versus a gaming generation. Like, toward the end, a lot of great games, but it was like Game of the Year against what, though? Right? You know what I mean? Like,
moving on.
Didn't Elden Ring be like God of the Year? Again, Game of the Year. Like, didn't Elden Ring be like greatest game of the universe, y'all? Elden Ring. Don't play nothing else. It's all good.
Yeah, it won Game of the Year.
Sure didn't win game of ever, right? That game looks pretty crazy. Like I'm kind of behind in open world games, stuff like that, whatever. But like, you get a different experience with the open world game.
I played it, but
not to forget. I'm sorry here. Even though like Horizon is an open world game, Elden Ring is an open world game. Like it's not Kane. I'm sorry. It's more sandbox. It's more sandbox for Horizon. So like a Mad Max, that's more sandbox. Like Grand Theft Auto, that's more sandbox. So it's still open world, but it's more like, again, it's because it's almost like it's a sandbox and not like an open world. There's a big ass map. You're going to different islands and different whatever. And it's like, no, I'm in a nice little spot, and it's a nice little map. Like, again, Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima is like open world, but it's also sandbox. So it's weird, bro. It's weird. It's weird gameplay choice versus like your experience. Cause like what? Say if you compare, long story short, say if you compare Elden Ring to No Man's Sky. It's like you have open world, and then you literally have
Outer
open
world.
world, outer world, right? He's like, oh, I get to go to a whole new planet. Like this is, and I mean, like, how when you sit back as a gamer and go, like, well, shit, why do I care about open world games where I can just go to a whole new planet?
You know what? You know what game I felt that way about? It was a Star Trek game,
Mm,
and you could just fly right out, keep
yeah,
going,
that's dope.
and go right into another planet. But they should have worked on the gameplay.
I mean, yeah, that's got to be a weird thing. I think, and when you look back, I don't know how old this Star Wars game, a Star Trek game, because I know there's two separate things. Don't kill nobody, right? Don't kill me, anybody. Star Trek and Star Wars, they're two separate things. I understand, but again, um, it's like it's pretty funny. I feel like my name is showing now, like it's a DJ Hatred, and it's like this dude sounds like he's hating on a lot of shit. But anywho, um, I just feel like, you know, if a game wins this thing, it should be because of this thing, not like, yo, man, the last game was hot, so this automatically gets it. Because award shows are kind of funky nowadays, where like most people really didn't really play a lot of games, and some people really did. But it's like I'm not saying because again, bro, it's like, yo, I don't have a PlayStation 5. I didn't play God of War, but enough people played it to say this game is game of the year. But it's also like, what else also came out that year? Gotham Knights was probably never going to be game of the year, but I remember that also got like pushed back or whatever too. And it did come out when it came out. But you know, what other games that was this competition to be like, oh, I beat out this other dope ass game?
So
It's weird.
since most of the games got pushed into this
Yeah.
year, we could talk about. Oh man, it lagged. Fucking, we could talk about the games we excited for because they were supposed to come out last year. Some of these games, but they're coming out this year. For my list, I got Hogwarts, Suicide
It looks
Squad,
dope.
Fin-
Fingers crossed.
Final Fantasy 16.
Whew.
I I don't know if this is confirmed for this year.
Right.
Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth.
I don't think it is either, man. I think
It
that's definitely gonna be 2024.
because they said 2023, but
Right.
I'm not sure. And
I
then
wouldn't hold my breath.
and last but not least, Spider Man.
How did you forget? You actually know what? Let me not. I think they said, was it Survivor, which is the sequel to Fallen Order, may come out this year, but I don't believe it.
I don't care about that game. I'm gonna keep it a
Uh,
buck.
that's
Oh,
hilarious.
and
Right.
one other game is it's called Sons of the Forest.
That sounds familiar, but I'm not sure.
It's a
So I didn't really write a list down, and I know a lot of stuff was like pushed back. And I don't even know if a lot of games are actually even still coming out here. But games I am excited for, um, Tears of the Kingdom. Uh, if I'm not mistaken, it may come out this year. Wolong, Fallen Dicey looks dope.
oh yeah,
Uh,
that joint look fire.
Black Wukong, if that's still coming out this year.
I,
Black
I
Wukong.
seen it on the PlayStation Store. It might be coming out.
I gotta look it up, and you can probably look it up too. There's a game that's in development that may come out this year. So check it. It's going to be a game that's similar to like Dead Space or whatever, but you're a firefighter. I keep forgetting what it's called. I was just looking it up the other day. Let me see if I can look it up real quick. The game looks bananas because we're getting games like the Dead Space.
Oh yeah,
That comes out this year too.
I forgot all about Dead Space. It comes
Forgot all
out
about
this
that
month.
too. But I think it's one of those games like I think a game like that's gonna be a given for me because like I'm a big Dead Space guy. I played all three of them. I'm one of the few people that actually loves Dead Space 1, 2, and 3. Um, somebody's gonna probably egg my house now. This guy likes Dead Space 3, get him. Dead Space 3 is fine. Graphically it's still pretty good. Design wise, the game is still pretty legit. The microtransactions we all know killed that game. So it's not like, you know, whatever. But yeah, Dead Space is definitely on my list. RE4 remake for sure. But I am behind in the Resident Evil games at the moment. Sadly, it's embarrassing to say. Because I have so many games, bro. Like, if like I just cut my TV off because my Xbox is on, but that hard drive says 220 games. I'm not playing them all at the same time. I do just have games on my hard drive. Some of them are on my external from the 360 and Xbox One. But like it does say 220 games. That's a lot, and that's not including the games that's on my PlayStation 4, the games that are on my Switch. So it's like, hey, look, man, I have games I'm looking forward to, but it's like at this point, I'm buried in video games. Like I was almost like I was going to point in the background, like there's a mountain of video games behind me. But hell, it may be even hard to say in my closet, but I have games just in my closet. Like it's just it's insane.
Like,
But there was a game that's going to be coming out similar to Dead Space, whose name I can't remember. What was it? Which name I can't remember. But
what was
that's
I
kind
say?
of it for me. Tears of the Kingdom, Resident Evil for sure, Black Wukong. Um, See, and I mean, like, if Spider-Man is going to come out, maybe Spider-Man, but that's a whole other podcast for me, for the Spider-Man games because like I'm one of the few Spider-Man fans and Spider-Man gamers that did not like Spider-Man PS4. Was that 2018? That's when it came out, right? So it's like that's a
Think so?
whole thing, bro. But from the trailer, Spider-Man 2, I think we can call it, right? Because there's a Spider-Man 2 game, but that was for the PS.
Two.
It was for the it was for the PS2, Xbox, and GameCube. So it was like calling Spider-Man 2, and it's like we're still doing this with naming stuff, right? Because like God of War 2018
Was just called God of
is
War.
just called God of War. And you're like, I know, soft reboot, sequel thing. Naming video games these days is just lazy, right? Just like the other one, Saints Row. Is like you're gonna call it Saints Row, but there's a Saints Row 1 that people love that probably should have been remade. But you know what's funny? That was a game that came out last year. I did enjoy it. No, it came out this year, right? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last year.
Last year. Sorry, that was a game that came out that I did enjoy, but I didn't love it. I thought it had a lot of cool mechanics. Definitely was not game of the year, but it did have one of the coolest. So check this out real quick, because I think I might be talking to you about this before off camera. The coolest mechanic in Saints Row Reboot is the vehicle to traversal mechanic, where if somebody's in the driver's seat and you're in the passenger seat, you can climb out on the hood of the car and you can jump off your wingsuit. Well, maybe not jump off with your wingsuit. I think there's an ejector seat for some of the cars, but I think you also just jump off. But you can wingsuit onto another car and then jump in, like I think jump to the driver's seat and kick somebody out there. Like, no, that's bananas, bro. That's some weird, funky Fast and Furious type of thing, but like that's a dope mechanic to me. That's dope, yo. Like I like that wingsuit shit being tied into like driving mechanics and traversal. I think that's dope. There are no action games like that in existence. So I thought that mechanic alone was pretty dope. But the gun combat was a little outdated and it felt very lazy.
Stiff.
Like I don't think it was stiff, even though it's like you have your controls and then like your aim. To me, it works better without aim assist, but don't kill me. I used aim assist because I was just like, bro, I'm on last gen. I was on Xbox One X, and it wasn't 60 FPS. Even though on next gen consoles, it's still not 60 FPS. It may be like 40, low 50. There's still a difference in fluidity of like gameplay because it's just not the FPS standard now, right?
Yeah.
But the dope mechanic of like traversal to like wingsuit, whatever, stuff like that. That was pretty dope, I really enjoyed that. Or also, I'm sorry, not or also, but also when you have to get out of the car, you can lay on the hood of the car and you can like lay prone and turn. And you can shoot and you can get back into the car type deal. So there's a couple of cool mechanics in that game, but I think there was potential there. I'm sorry, that could have made that game of the year. But when it came out, It was just rough and unpolished.
It was horrible.
Actually, you know what? There was another game that was game of the year. No, I'm sorry, that was one of my top games of the year. But I think because it was such a smaller game, I kind of overlooked it. TMNT, Shredder's Revenge. That game is fire. That game is top tier, beat 'em up goodness. But I think it's a game that's perfect the way it is, but it doesn't like reinvent the wheel. But that definitely probably should have been one of my favorite games of the year. I think it actually was, but there were other games that I definitely enjoyed a little bit more. But TMNT Shredder's Revenge was super dope, yo. That probably deserves an honorable mention. If not, just like an intrusion on my list. But Shredder's Revenge was dope. It was super dope, yo.
Yeah. That's it for the game section.
Mm.
Let me know y'all games, not games of the year, but what games you guys enjoyed last year and what games you guys are excited for this year.
This year's gonna be really interesting, man.
Now,
We are going to get spoiled, and we're gonna eat good. I think a lot of games are gonna be next gen console only.
If everything
whatever,
comes out
that,
like it's supposed to.
But I mean, but I think there's enough games that if you're not a hardcore gamer or if you're not a gamer that has an insatiable gaming appetite, you should be good. Like, yo, RE4 for most gamers should be game of the year and the only game most people should probably want and need to play. Whatever. Like RE4 is a game that is in a list of like the best games ever made. And it is a game that was so legit that is like it was re-released on multiple consoles, bro. Like I own every version except for the PS2 version. But I had the PS2 version in a sense when it was released for the Xbox One. So it's like I own it, but I don't own it. But because like my homie has them all physical copies. Resident Evil 4. He has every physical release of Resident Evil 4 because the game is just that good.
Sounds like me with Kingdom Hearts.
Speaking of which, Kingdom Hearts 4, whenever that is going to be a thing, that might definitely get Game of the Year. We'll see in the near future if that's going to be a thing, man. Because I don't even think the game exists. I saw that we all saw that. We all saw that. Was it Summer Games Fest? Was that when we saw it?
I think it'll come out with Wolverine.
The game does not exist, bro. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay if the game doesn't exist anymore. Because like
we'll get that with Wolverine.
We saw the fallen AT-AT Walker, right?
Supposedly.
Or AT-AT, whatever. It's like,
was that really
like Star Wars, bro? Right. So
was that really it, or just some grass?
I mean, hey, look, Kingdom Hearts X Star Wars could be crazy, but I mean, for as much as Disney owns these characters and the brand and stuff like that, it's like they might as well. Like, I mean, some kind of Keyblade thing. I mean, I know your boy
Keyblade lightsaber.
I know your boy Zemnis had something like that, but it wasn't really a lightsaber, right? So,
yeah.
But yeah, that's neither here nor there. Kingdom Hearts 4 doesn't exist, right?
It's cool.
But yeah, that almost kind of scared me though, because like there are a lot of games that have dope trailers that kind of just fall into like it was announced and we may or may not see it. Like check it real quick.
Like Wolverine.
No, that's gonna be a thing though.
Yeah, but that
game is gonna come out soon, somehow, some way.
We gotta wait till after they finish making Spider-Man. They'll start making.
I would rather get a Wolverine game only because, again, I wasn't the biggest fan of Spider-Man PS4, right? But I will say that also makes me afraid that this Wolverine game is coming out from the same developer. So I'm afraid this game,
the story was amazing.
Oh, you mean similar recycled stories from like the comics? And I'm not saying Spider-Man stories. I'm not saying Spider-Man stories are not good. and at least it wasn't a Clone Saga or a Brand New Day. But it's like,
I like Clone
you
Saga.
know, look, I do like Ben Riley though.
I like Ben Riley.
No, Kane is whack, bro.
Whoa. We ain't gonna do that.
Kane is whack. Kane is damn near,
a savage.
Like blue jeans, black coat, just like, yeah, Kane is whack, man. It was almost an excuse to kind of have like a evil Spider-Man. It's like, I'm Kane. It's like, sure, your name is Kane. But I digress. This year should be really interesting for upcoming releases. But Resident Evil 4 should be the game to end all be all 2023. Like, no game should be able to touch it. If this is the game,
I'm telling you, they're gonna give it to Spider-Man.
Being remade, if this is the game being remade that people still love, the game that's now outdated, the game that's aged like fine wine, just like Dead Space 1, bro. That game is getting remade, and that original game still, it runs on 60 FPS on Xbox One and Series X. Dead Space 1, 60 FPS, 1080p. Just saying, and that game has like weight, it has heft. Yes, the backtracking is a bit much in the game, but like the shooting feels smooth. It's multiple difficulties. I was like, it's a full gaming experience, but it is being remade, and you're like, do we need this? Even though I know Dead Space, long story short, Dead Space is not Resident Evil 4, because that was a game that kind of just changed. It changed gaming culture, over the shoulder, how we approach survival horror games, and it's like, Resident Evil 4 kind of screwed us over for a minute, where like every game kind of had to feel that way. Even though like there were other games over the shoulder or that kind of top down pseudo isometric, like the behind the back camera, like the Silent Hills or whatever, like Eternal Darkness or whatever. Is like there were always games that kind of had a look and felt a certain kind of way, but RE4 being just unique survival horror shooter thing, because like Leon's a dope character and he's doing superhuman attributes and stuff, like he's dodging lasers, and you're like, this game is wild. And it's a game that doesn't take itself too seriously. So I think that's why it really it's been so iconic after all these years and still so good. And the game that's just not outdated, but we shall see.
All right, so we was talking about our favorite games of 2022. Time to talk about favorite movies and TV shows.
Oh boy. I mean, can we name anything that didn't really get canceled for real, right? Because like, isn't that the thing? Like, how like cancel culture versus like, no, Netflix, Amazon, HBO Max, like they are literally cancel culture for real.
You just reminded me of one of my shows that I forgot.
Here we go.
The Witcher.
Man, poor Cavill.
It's over now.
Well, I don't know about all that. Look, what's his name? Liam. Liam is dope.
Nah,
Liam's
it's over now.
Liam is not Cavill, but Liam's not a bad actor. You're not a Hemsworth if you can't act, bro.
Listen,
this guy.
Anybody who's seen the Witcher series knows the best part of it was Henry.
No, I mean, look, I've never read the books, so I know it's a case of like the lore versus the adaptation, and Cavill just having screen presence and almost that seat selling kind of thing. So I get it.
The problem with The Witcher was the people making it didn't like The Witcher.
I mean, I've heard that was probably sort of the case of like, we don't really want to follow the books too hardcore.
Not even. They was making fun of the books. They was making fun of the games.
Well, hey, look, man.
How you going make a adaptation of something and you don't respect the source material? Like,
to be fair, some adaptations do that, but I don't. And again, you have to tell me if it was like really hardcore, like hate, negligence, or was it just like poking fun? I mean, like it's entertainment,
It
and
wasn't.
I understand. I
It
understand.
wasn't poking fun. They only
Okay,
wanted Henry Cavill to be like just
interesting.
just every scene, just him with his shirt off, and he was like, "That's not Geralt. That's not his character."
Right.
They just wanted him to stand around, be sexy, and grunt, and he was like,
Jeez.
That's not the character."
I mean, you know, it's wild. I mean, you figure what third season they made up the third season.
Yeah,
So, I
they
mean, hey, look, bro. I mean,
they
maybe it's time to throw in the towel after season 4, right?
yeah.
Season 4, right? Because that's probably what's gonna happen, bro. I mean, like, look, lots of shows are getting canceled
Season
on
four is
the
gonna
regular.
season four is gonna be the other guy, and after that it's gonna get canceled.
But you also figure too, though, bro, is like shows that are considered good, high rated, highly praised, or whatever, they're getting canceled too. So, like, even if The Witcher, say, maybe has overstayed its welcome, got a little stale, um, you might as well throw the towel in for that one. Got to be on Rocky Four. Throw the damn towel. You just throw it. The towel's all bloody. Geralt's face just like from like a blood print, just like on a towel, and it's like, here lies the Witcher. He died a good death, type deal. So it's like I missed out on that whole show. Sadly, I've seen a few episodes. I enjoyed what I saw. I'm not really a hardcore Witcher fan gamer guy. I mean, because I missed out on the originals back in the day. Like, was it
I only
Witcher
ever
one, Witcher 1 and 2? I know they were on 360.
I only ever played
Um,
Witcher 3.
and I hear that game was rough at launch. Different subject, but hey man, look, it's not Cavill's fault. Uh, it's because it's a business, man.
Facts.
These developers, producers, production companies, whatever, their IP, uh, they're like IP mongers, man. It's like, yo, what's an IP? What can we use to sell to make money off this thing? And it's like, yeah, but if you're gonna do that, like, try to care, try to do something, man. Like, I feel like the whole IP thing could be an interesting conversation for an interesting podcast. Because like one IP, it's not really an IP, but like even if it's an adaptation or like this thing, like example, you know how like you have, long story short, you know how you have TV shows, but they're different, like a different country, and they're different thing, like The
Yeah.
Office, like the UK Office and the American remake, they are two different shows.
Just like
Super Sentai
what's
and
the
Power Rangers, two different shows,
just
right?
like
So
Wilford. I
I
don't
never
know.
saw that though.
It was hilarious,
Mm,
but it's different than the
yeah.
UK version.
Yeah, there's a lot of that, man. A lot of UK type shows or just whatever. I mean, but again, it's like
But
that's a whole different discussion, like the whole IP
but even with
thing, and
you
it
you
being
could
stuck in the
just
whole just
you
business situation.
we could just stick with America, like
Yeah,
Disney. They're just remaking all their animated cartoons into live action, and they're
they
all
kind of sort
horrible.
of. I mean, well, they have not remade everything. I hope they don't.
Not
But
they just keep going. Like you had
mm,
Beauty and the Beast. You had
I heard it was pretty good. I didn't see it.
yeah,
I wasn't a big Beauty and the Beast fan, so
but
I missed out on it. I mean, I am a fan of Emma Watson, so I kind of missed that.
it gets
You know,
worse with every new one they make. Like it was Beauty and the Beast,
please,
then it
please
was
do not remind me. Right? Do not remind me because, and I hope I'm not interjecting here. I apologize. Just real quick. I don't know if you know, or if you do know, I want to hear your quick thoughts on it. Lilo and Stitch is rumored to be the next
they bet
remake.
not. They bet not. They bet
Yes,
not.
that is the next rumored remake. And Lilo and Stitch has enough material to just re-release it, remaster it, and it's all good. You have the 3 movies.
Just make
You have the entire cartoon series.
just make a continuation cartoon. Like
Yeah, yeah,
they
yeah. I
grown
completely agree.
they grown now. Make Make Lilo part of the little Space Force shit.
I agree. I
Stitch her
agree.
partner.
But there's a heavy rumor Lilo and Stitch is gonna be next after Little Mermaid. So
Horrible, horrible. But what I
I
was
want them to just do original shit. Like real quick, have you seen Moana? Moana's dope.
fire,
Original,
fire.
original separate thing. Like Encanto.
It was better than
Original.
Frozen.
Dope. Hey, look, I'm not touching that smoke.
Listen,
maybe your fans know you too.
listen.
Look,
Moana was better than Frozen. Frozen just had Let It Go.
look. I'll say this, man. There's heavy rumors that Frozen 3 might happen, and was it Anna? Anna might get them fire powers or something like that.
Oh yeah, it seems
But that would have been. But that's too late for me though.
yeah.
I kind of feel like they should have kind of already at least maybe been there or maybe had like a hint, like Anna has some fire powers at the end of 2 or whatever. Because I recently watched Frozen 2 and I was like, yeesh. This movie's rough. It's like animation wise, it's beautiful, gorgeous, whatever, like jaw dropping animation. It's bananas, but it's Disney. You expect that. It's like they were Mappa before Mappa was Mappa, right? This is like classic, like hand drawn animation. Akira, like this shit was always gorgeous, bro. Like animation just always fluid and special and like top tier animations. I get all that, but I also am aware that the movie's not made for me, but it's like some adults are gonna watch these movies, and it's like, what is in these movies for adults?
Nothing.
Beyond them looking good, right? I will say though, and I ain't trying to ruffle no bushes. I wonder though if Frozen, like other Disney films, would have been maybe a little bit better had there been more inclusion across the board. I'm just saying. I'm not saying everything may need to have some sort of inclusion for like, hey, can we get a Chinese person in, that kingdom or whatever? But it's like, bro, this is fantasy.
Listen,
And it doesn't matter if there's like separate regions or, separate stories from different cultures that kind of maybe are not like, like their own thing, but it's like, you watch some of these Disney cartoons. I'm just saying, you don't see many brown people. You don't see many Asian people. Actually, there were black people in Frozen 2 though.
listen.
I don't really recall seeing them in Frozen 1, but there were some black people in Frozen 2. They weren't really frozen. Actually, they were frozen. They were some of the soldiers that were frozen, but it's like whatever.
All I'll say about that is, long as the story good, I don't care about all that extra.
But the stories are also not written for us. They're not sold to us. Like the Kristoff character, the Olaf character. Like those guys are male characters, but I don't know, bro. You know what was dope that I missed out on that I watched not that long ago? Well, this is not a segue, nothing, but Tangled. Tangled was dope. Somebody told me about Tangled a while back, and that is a remake, but they re-enhanced the original. Like Tangled was dope. The whole Goldilocks, whatever, and all that. Yo, Tangled is Rapunzel. I'm sorry, Rapunzel. Yeah, Tangled is dope. Like they need to keep. They can keep up that kind of shit. But like, look, Frozen is whatever it is.
I ain't watched Tangled, but I played Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah. One of these days, I'm gonna jump in on the Kingdom Hearts thing and whatever, right? And get that whole love because I know I missed out on a lot as a gamer, not playing Kingdom Hearts. I always felt there was a unique experience that I missed out on because I love role playing games, I love action games, but I'm aware that there's no RPG in existence like Kingdom Hearts. There's no game like it, which is why it's such a dope single IP. Almost kind of in a league of its own because you kind of have like some action platform RPGs, but it's like Zelda's kind of in that vein, but it's very, very, very different. You don't have that clash of just culture and music, and it's a different thing.
Top tier music.
Yes, definitely top tier. And we are still blessed to continue to get music from Utada Hikaru.
Facts.
Holy shit. Holy shit.
What was I about to say? We went way off topic, but
I think those things need to be said though.
Yeah.
I think those things need to be said. I'm sure your fans can definitely relate and or definitely chime in the comments for sure.
But I'll just name the movies that I liked last year.
Oh boy, I want
First
to hear this list.
first one, Dragon Ball Super superhero.
We're on the same page with that. You and I actually saw that.
Fire. Next, Sonic 2,
Fire.
Black Phone,
I have not seen. I heard good things.
Fire. Super Sons. It's
I hear. How was it? I hear mixed things, bro. There's another movie that has controversial animation and all those other things.
At first,
it's another DC properties.
At first, I didn't like the animation.
Yeah, it grew on you.
But as I'm watching it, all that it just goes out my mind.
I also kind of heard heard the movie made Damien a little likable. Yeah. So that's got to be a caveat, right?
But I didn't really like Damien, but when I read the Super Sons comic, him and John together, made me like Damien.
I don't know why all these years Damien's just not a better written character. But not to get off subject, let me let you finish, right?
The last
Super Sons, because you got 5, you got a top 5.
The last 3 is Batman. It was alright, but I felt like
it was all right.
I felt like I could take him.
I love how everybody says that, but damn well you can't.
I can.
The man's got lead lined gloves. He's got the armor that can take 12 gauge shotgun blasts like it should. Right? He's got the grappler guns. And he's definitely a little blinded by his vengeance, but like you ain't taking Battinson,
I can take him.
You ain't taking him. You're not taking Battinson.
It's because of my bias that I think I could.
What's even more hilarious is that even if you did think you could take Battinson, and he's not really a murderer, he probably could run you over with his car. He probably could.
Listen,
and you would still get got. That tank of a car, that man said not kill anyone.
Listen,
that could kill people though.
My bias is because Ben Affleck is my favorite Batman.
I'm not arguing. That's cool. I get
him.
It. I mean,
I wouldn't even jaywalk.
That's too funny, man. I mean, like the Batman's in my top list for sure. The Batman,
and then the last 2 is the Adam Project with Ryan Reynolds.
I thought it was okay. I thought it was hyped up too much. I like Ryan Reynolds. I thought it was okay.
I didn't like see it after it got hyped up. I seen it like in my own time, and I was like, "Hey, this John alright. I fuck with it."
I mean, Ryan Reynolds, he hasn't really made any bad movies, but I know that's debatable and super subjective at the moment, especially over the last couple of years.
Then the last one is The Gray Man.
Gray Man, I thought was really dope too.
We got Captain America as an evil, as a villain.
So yeah, the Batman, Gray Man was definitely on my list too for sure. Spider-Man, No Way Home. That was a movie that has always been.
Was that this year or last year?
That had to be last year for sure.
Nah, I mean, do you know what I mean? Last year and last year.
Oh, you're right, because it came out around.
It came out towards
Christmas,
towards the end.
Right, man. But it had a long theatrical run, so I think I'm good.
Yeah, it went on into the new year.
So I think I get that I get that lucky pass, but yeah, man, Spider-Man. Because I'm much more of a bigger Spider-Man fan over Batman versus Batman for that matter. Even though they're both different, Marvel and DC, but Spider-Man. Because I mean, like my favorite DC hero, my favorite DC hero isn't Batman, even though I like Batman a lot. But favorite DC character. It's always been tough between like Superman and character. There are 2 different characters, but Kara's more nuanced. I like Clark, but Kara's very nuanced. But I digress. But yeah, the Batman, Spider-Man, No Way Home. Those were definitely my two top, and there were some other ones in there. Like the Protege was dope. Have you seen the Protege? The Protege's dope. Michael Keaton's in that joint.
I don't think so.
That's a dope movie. I definitely recommend it. Oh, you know what else is
I
really dope too? My Hero. I'm looking at the wrong one here. Right, My Hero. Sonic 2. You said also that was one of my favorites. I'm looking at it right now. What is it called? My Hero World Mission.
I think
That was my
I
shit.
went to see it. I think I went to see that one.
Those are in my tops for sure. My Hero World Mission, the Batman, Spider-Man, the Protege, the Gray Man, and Sonic 2. I think those were my tops. I can't think of anything else. Because I mean, did Suicide Squad come out last year? Or was that the year before?
21.
Okay, that was 21. Yeah.
Was it 21?
Because I'm looking at my joint. Hold on, I'm looking at my DVD shelf.
Yeah, it was 21 because it came out during. They was like they're putting all 2021 movies out on HBO
Oh, you
Max.
know what? There was one other. No Time to Die.
Oh, 007.
Yes, that's my shit. So I'm looking at because I bought it on Blu-ray, and bought it on Blu-ray not that long ago, and I'm looking at my list of stuff, and yeah, that was those are my tops. No Time to Die. It was as good as I thought it was going to be, and I enjoyed it way more than I thought I was. I mean, like I'm a big Daniel Craig, James Bond fan, because my second favorite James Bond is Roger Moore, and then it's Brosnan. So like I'm a weird old fogey guy when it comes to like the James Bond characters. I like Sean Connery, but you know he's don't hurt nobody, right? Don't hurt me. But he's I like Roger Moore. Roger Moore had a different flavor about him that was just cool. Like the Man with the Golden Gun. Yeah, but anywho, that's kind of my list. But No Time to Die, My Hero. I ate good. I ate good more for movies than video games, honestly.
What was I about to say? Did you have any TV shows?
Shit. So yeah, so I think TV shows maybe more so for anime, if I can count that. That's more or less what I would watch because I watched a little bit because the show's a little older. I watched a little bit of The Rookie because I kind of caught some of that tail end stuff, but I was early in the show. But look, The Rookie was something that I watched a little bit that I enjoyed last year. Wednesday came out last year, right?
Yeah.
I enjoyed Wednesday. I enjoyed that way more than I thought I was going to enjoy it because I enjoyed that a lot. My Hero, Chainsaw Man, because that still came out around the tail end of last year, right?
Yeah.
Bleach came out
this year.
Bleach came out last year.
Last year. Like
okay. And Halo.
Trash.
I loved that show. And I'm not like a big Halo lore guy, so maybe that's the reason why, I guess. But I like Schreiber. I think his name is so I'm getting mixed up. Liev Schreiber and
I hate whoever they had to play Master Chief.
The dude is dope. He was so dope from granted I've only seen him in the other show of Orange is the New Black.
I don't like him in nothing I've seen him in. That's why.
Did you like Orange is the New Black? I didn't finish it, but from a little bit of Orange is the New Black I enjoyed a lot. But Orange is the New Black was first I think it was like the first 3 seasons I really enjoyed very, very much. And then I just kind of fell out because they just kind of kept going. I know I'm aware it's a book. But yeah, I really enjoy Halo a lot. Some of those action scenes for me, some of those emotional moments, emotional beats for certain characters, and a lot of like cool nuance. Like I grew to love Master Chief as a character more because of his character development, and you still get that small extra little tidbits of like backstory which don't matter. I'm sorry, they do matter, but I still think there might be more to John's story that we didn't get but I was satisfied with enough because like I know they tried to do a lot and squeeze a lot into season one. So you know, I think there would, I think the show needed more time for John's backstory, but there was enough for you there to care about John as a character. I care more about John as a character in that show than I do in the video game because it's like Master Chief, Super Soldier, Spartan. You know, I'm the King Spartan dude. It's like I can fall out of a ship and hit the ground, and I'm just all good. It's like
Yeah.
you don't fear for Master Chief. He is the dude. You remember Halo 5? Where it's like, John Spartan, not John Spartan, sorry, Spartan Locke, played by Mike Coulter, Luke Cage is like, this guy's gonna take out Master Chief, and Master Chief, he came to blows this dude. It was like, I don't even see you, bro. Spartan Locke was said to be that dude chasing Master Chief, and Master Chief just looked at him like, it's like, is that a paperweight? Like, so who were they fooling?
He was like, you always gonna be number 2.
But I digress. I just feel like the Halo story has always been this overly expansive thing in the games versus how detailed I hear it is in the books. But I from a little bit I've known, and hell, look, I'll even finalize with this. I only thoroughly enjoyed Halo 2 and Halo Reach, and then it was like, oh, that's right, Halo Reach is a prequel, and you lose in that game, bro. You die. Your character goes through a whole story arc, whatever thing. Like that game gave me a great experience.
And then you die.
Then you see the fall of there's the setup for the fall of Reach in the show, so I can appreciate that. You do see the very first Halo ring a little bit and stuff like that. So like I'm with it, man. Everybody's mad like, yo, why Halo Chief getting laid and stuff, bro? And it's like, the dude still has a penis, bro. I'm just saying. And it wasn't even like he was like super in love with her, because like, you don't have to be in love with someone to be intimate with them. But it's like, he got some cheeks. It's all right. It's like the dude is like, being like this human robot type of character. It makes those characters.
Should have never seen
harder.
this man outside of his suit.
Bro, like, check it. Like, people
I never
love
wanted to see his helmet off.
It's like Punisher's a beloved character, but guess what? Punisher had a family. It's like I think Master Chief just always needed more. Granted, there was always a lot of the backstory in the games and even in the books where it's like he had friends, he had a family, but it's like I always felt disconnected. Even though I never really read the books, like I said, but I've seen, was it Forward Unto Dawn? You ever see that, John? Live action show, Forward Unto Dawn?
No.
Forward Unto Dawn was a show that it showed other characters going through the same thing that Master Chief went through, to go through the whole selection process and all these things. But it's like, I don't care about none of these dudes, and they're also not as dope as Master Chief. So I care, but I don't care.
They're not the main character.
But again, lastly, it's all about John and Cortana. And Cortana was dope too, to me, in that show, bro. Like, I know she looked a little funky in the trailer, I guess, to some people. And maybe I'm just biased as all hell, where I was like, Cortana looks dope. Like, what's her name? Jen Taylor. She came back. She did the voice. It's like, for me, they don't care about Halo fans. It's like, that's the voice of Cortana. What you talking about? Like, the producer of the show, Kiki Wolfkill, is like, she produces and supports the games and shit. So it's not, granted, I know that's a whole nother thing and a whole nother whatever, but it's like, look, you can say the Halo games are trash now, which is why the show was trash too. But for me, the show was cool. I dug it. CG was a little rough at sometimes, but for the most part, overall, I thought it was a very solid show. So those were some of the highlights for me, man. I want to buy it on 4K. I want to buy it on 4K this year because it was that dope. That dope.
Well, I got a couple shows. I'm going to just name them and then probably talk about some of them.
Oh, boy.
First one is The Boys.
I've seen a little bit. We can talk about it.
I'll say I'm a big fan of this season because
I really didn't watch The Boys like that. Yeah,
I'm a Supernatural fan. They had my boy Dean in there. Best character of the season. Next show, Hawkeye.
That's right. I forgot Hawkeye came out. Hawkeye was dope. I enjoy Hawkeye.
I liked Hawkeye out of all the Marvel shows.
I might be a little Marvel biased. So if I name anything Hawkeye related or anything Marvel related, I might just get booed off the planet. I'm a big Marvel dude, yo. Big Marvel dude. But I did enjoy Hawkeye also.
I like Hawkeye out of all of the shows they had. Maybe
out of all the Marvel Disney Plus joints, because I think they're all solid. Falcon and Winter Soldier, WandaVision, I think they're all solid. I enjoy them all. Even Miss Marvel. I think Miss Marvel needed a little bit more there. Thought it was too short. They didn't cram a lot, but I thought it was too short.
I think the best two were Hawkeye and Loki.
Loki was dope too. But I'm sorry, let me not let you finish your list because I forgot all about Hawkeye, and that was dope too.
Then this one, I thought it was gonna be shit, but it surprised me, and it's Peacemaker.
I forgot about Peacemaker. God damn it! I knew that. You know, in the back of my mind, I'm like, there's got to be something else I'm forgetting. Peacemaker.
Because when it was first announced, it was before the Suicide Squad movie came out. Right.
I remember when coworker of mine was mad about that too.
So nobody knew how John Cena was gonna play Peacemaker, and I'm like, it's John Cena. Nobody care. Then we seen Suicide Squad, and I was like, damn, this Suicide Squad made me excited for Peacemaker.
Right.
And then we got Peacemaker. That John was fire. Then
I forgot all about Peacemaker. That's
the last two.
Yeah, goddamn James Gunn.
The last two for me is House of the Dragons.
Yeah, see, I didn't watch that. And I'm not the biggest Song of Fire and Ice guy and all like that, and I did like the first 5 seasons of Game of Thrones.
I didn't read the book.
I wanted to wait till House of the Dragon was done before I watched it because it was like watching every week, guys. It's like, man, look, George R.R. Martin is like adding stuff from the books or whatever. It's cool. I can wait, guys. I can wait. So I need to jump in on it. I need to watch that. I need to watch Sonic Prime. That's some of the new stuff I gotta watch. Alice in Borderland. I need to jump in on that. But I'm afraid Alice in Borderland is going to get canceled. I don't kind of want to watch that. I almost don't kind of want to watch Sonic Prime because I feel like that might get canceled too. So it's like I kind of have an issue with watching a lot of new shows because they're going to get canceled. I don't think House of Dragon could have got canceled too, to be honest. It could have.
Not now.
I mean, yeah, that might be one of the more lucky ones. Like, we're not going to cancel this, but we'll cancel everything else. So,
and then,
I mean, because I think Harley Quinn, was that last year too? Harley Quinn was dope too. Harley Quinn was fire. That was my shit too. Kelly Cuoco, I'm sorry. She makes that character so much more interestingly nuanced and more evil in that show than there are other incarnations of that character. And you're just like, wow. I was unaware that this character was capable of like more depth, more brutality, but also more nuance. Nah, but yeah, Harley Quinn in that show, man, she's way more brutal, yo. Her kill count's way higher in that show. But like everybody gets the baseball bat. Everybody gets it. Getting rocket launchers and kick to the face and even the heavy amounts of profanity is allowed to give that show an extra flavor that you don't get in the comics. Like it's allowed to be much more adult for that show. Yeah. But yeah, Harley Quinn season 2 because season 3 with the James Gunn cameo. You see that shit?
The Zack Snyder cameo.
That's it, man. Poor Zach. You and I talked about Zach off camera, but
what was I about to say? The last show for me was Bel-Air.
I forgot to watch that show. I've heard mixed things.
I thought it was going to be.
I've heard good things too.
Thought it was going to be trash because I'm like, why are you remaking Fresh Prince? But then
Well, I mean, well, because
I
Will
was
Smith
like,
is such an iconic character on that show.
I was like, I'll give it a chance, check it out, and I was surprised that was a good show.
But I mean, it's because it sounds like like dramas. That's definitely a drama show.
Listen, man.
Definitely heavy in drama for sure.
Yeah.
But it's like I feel like visual media wise, meaning like movies and anime and stuff like that or whatever, and TV shows. I feel like I feel like I maybe ate better. I feel like I ate better last year for sure. Cause like Sonic 2 and stuff and just everything is like brought back to the movies and shit. And it's just like, bruh, I'm eating good. Video game wise, I felt a little unfulfilled, little stomach empty. COVID's still a heavy thing or whatever and stuff like that. And it's like, what can you do? But again, bro, I have at least, like I said, at least 220 games on my Xbox. Some of those games I may not ever play. Some of them were free games that were free. And I was like, oh, this kind of sounds cool or whatever. But it's like, I have a lot of games. So, like, I didn't eat good for new games or new games that came out that year, but I ate good. It's very weird. You know what I mean? So.
And then, like, I know you ain't watched The Boys, but
I have problems with the source material because I tried to read the comic. They're in my car somewhere.
It's nothing like that.
No. And I'm aware. And I'm aware that the show is more. I'm aware that the show is a little bit more layered and nuanced because you get some music in there too. You get different acting beats from different characters played by different actors. I get all it, like the Butcher character. Carl Urban makes that character much cooler on screen than on paper. Like Billy the Butcher in the book looks like a basic dude. He looks like Frank Castle with a black t-shirt and a black trench coat. And no guns. That's how Butcher looks in the comics, bro.
What was about to say?
So I guess I just had an issue with like I didn't like the book. And I will say that I didn't finish the book, but I didn't like what I was reading. And then it was like, all right, this new show is going to be its own thing. But then I was like, look, it looks really edgy. It felt like a better written Titans, right? And I was just like, man, look, I love my adult comics and whatever, but I don't know if it was my hate that initially kept me from watching it versus my hate now. And watching, I think I only watched maybe 2 episodes, and I don't know. I don't care. What's that dude name? Huey?
Yeah.
The dude, I'm not saying he's whack, but I don't care. I also don't even feel bad for him. First episode spoilers, right? I don't feel bad for him that homegirl got Yamin because it's like
that was wild.
My thing is everybody in the show is an asshole, but it felt so random and so ridiculous that it was like, this is bullshit.
But
she was in the street. He was on the curb and sidewalk, and A Train was just running, and I'm like, look, my thing about it is this: if you're a character and you live in that world, and superheroes are assholes, you gotta move differently. I almost feel like there's no excuse, even if you're just gonna get got at random, but it almost seems like it was too specific and too like plot armor for Huey to not get got. And A-Train was like, I just can't stop. And it's like, yo, I'm looking, I like granted, again, maybe I don't get it. Maybe I'm just a hater. I was just like, bro, this shit is too specific.
But you got to finish the season.
For me to care. So are you telling me if I finish season 1, I will care more about Huey and Huey's laws?
Yes.
Because at the moment, I don't give a shit. Everyone's an asshole. And I'm not saying Huey's an asshole, and I'm not saying his girl deserved to die, but my whole thing is, it just seemed too weird and specific to be like, well, his girl got, and I'm supposed to feel bad. And it's like, nigga, anybody can get got. Right? So it's like, I just, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I
But
don't know. I never give the show a full chance,
hey, you got
right? But I just I don't know. But again, look, you like the show. I'm definitely all open ears. Um I don't want to be like a hater and whatever, and maybe I'm making excuses for whatever. But like, look, I'm aware the show is very different. I'm aware it's very very nuanced. Um, but it seems a little rough for me. Uh, Seems a little overly violent and edgelordy, and I almost feel like I can maybe say the same thing about the Harley Quinn show because it's equally as violent, if not more violent. But um, yeah, I don't know. I'm aware that the boys is a fan base stuff like that, and I'm probably missing out because there's just there's moments where you hate on something, and you go, I hated on this thing, I missed out on this thing. Oops, because I jumped on My Hero late. I jumped on a lot of stuff well, I never hated One Punch Man, but I jumped on that late. I jump in late sometimes, so and you know it's a thing. It's like maybe I'm waiting for all the seasons to be done or whatever, all that. But like, hey, look, I love superhero stuff. I did mention I'm a Marvel guy, DC guy and stuff, but it's like I don't, I don't, I don't ultimately feel like I'm missing anything. It's weird, but maybe I am. Maybe you and I can talk a little bit more about it off camera and stuff because like I love superhero stuff and
yeah, I just got my one friend into watching it. Now,
I've enjoyed more superhero stuff for just like the classic big guys, flashy guys like the DCs and Marvels and stuff like that, and My Hero. Um, and while My Hero is not that original, there's some cool freshness to it. The score, the orchestrated soundtrack is dope as hell. Fights are dope. Um, like Lemillion, that character, bro. That character is like the Rock Lee of the show, and he's one of the reasons why that show, or the manga for that matter, deserves all the praise it gets. If you ask me, like Lemillion is such a dope character that it's like, how can you hate this show or hate the manga and you haven't given this character a chance? Because like Lemillion, I think is the best of the best as far as like quintessential archetypal like superhero, like the dude just has gusto, if that makes any sense. So that's kind of it. But the boys, yeesh. I don't know. Like I don't like I said, like I should mention. I watched like the first episodes. I don't miss it. Do I want to go back and watch it or whatever? Maybe, I guess. I don't know. So it's like, yeah, it's a weird one, bro.
but
It's a weird one. So I mean, I kind of like chimed on the ones that I liked as well versus my full list. But I mean, I still feel like I ate good. Like I said, like Wednesday and stuff like that, and Tim Burton being one of my favorite writers, coming in and doing the thing and going ham. Just like just approaching the lore in a different way and just doing cool things. So I ate good. But I know The Boys is probably the biggest one on your list that I know I probably missed out on.
yeah,
So we'll
but
see, sir. We'll see.
but now we're in the new year.
Oh God, I know you're wearing a Flash shirt, right? Oh
You
boy.
you already know. Listen, man. My favorite Flash right now is the one on TV. That's
We're gonna have to really talk about that later, because
that's all I'm gonna say about.
but let me ask you this real quick about the Flash. Let me ask you this real quick. Have you kept up with all the past seasons or whatever?
Yes.
Because I jumped ship at season 5, and I didn't jump ship because I just didn't watch. I just kind of like I'm still kind of like episode 4 or 5 in season 1, and I was enjoying it with the whole cicada thing and all that. And of course, I have a love hate with Chris Klein as an actor. He's cool, but I always feel like he just never
He
really went ham enough.
he
I think he's
peaked
a
at
cool actor,
he peaked at American Pie.
but he's also super hilarious in Street Fighter: Legend of Chun-Li. So at the end of the day, I mean, look, he's an actor. That's an actor, and I don't know if he really is aware about choosing a project and if it's bad or good or whatever. But I enjoy him as an actor. I think the dude's fun. That makes any sense. So I enjoy Klein. And even what's his face was in it was dope too. He played Malfoy in Harry Potter because he was in
Oh yeah,
season 4. He was dope too. Long story short, I always felt the casting was very solid in all the CW shows.
yeah.
Even if it took me long to warm up to certain characters or actors and stuff like that, the casting I always thought was pretty solid. Costumes, different conversation because you and I spoke off camera about the return of Kid Flash, and it's like I never liked this costume, bro. He has the half cowl thing,
Yeah.
and I always felt that he was a great actor, and I thought he played a good Kid Flash. That's not how he looked. But I just wanted to ask you that really quickly about the Flash, because TV shows this year, man, I don't know.
All
I
the
don't know.
all the shows that I'm waiting for is the shows that I liked last year. I'm just waiting for the next season.
I feel like I could count Bleach, which I didn't mention last year, but Bleach has been broken up into parts, so I feel like
Yeah.
it'd be more fair to. But I did enjoy the very first part of Bleach though, like the comeback from Bleach, Thousand Year Blood War, fire, 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 fire. It was so good, bro. Like you're talking about just Easter egg type stuff and just animation and just dialogue and just a more carefully curated adaptation. Some of the jokes were dialed back, accurate colors for certain attacks and techniques and things like that. Yeah, Bleach, Thousand Year Blood War Part 1 was fire for sure. But I think I just didn't want to mention it or forgot to mention it, I guess, because it's broken in parts and it's not a full thing.
And
But
now we got all the movies coming out this year.
I mean, Avatar 2 is a big thing right now. Why do we care about anything that's coming out this year? Avatar 2, right? That's out.
Because
So
Avatar is a plant.
that's funny as hell. I still haven't seen Avatar 2 yet.
I'm not gonna see it at all.
I want to see it tomorrow if possible. I'm gonna try. That is a movie I want to experience in 3D if I can too. I enjoyed the first one in 3D a lot. Subsequent viewings, not in 3D, on base whatever, kind of hurts the experience of the movie, I think. But I enjoyed it.
I was a child when the first movie came out. I was forced to see it.
That's funny as hell. But yeah, I don't know what to think about this year. Upcoming movies and stuff like that, or whatever. Spider-Man. I don't want to jump the gun because I know you have a list. But I'm worried about this year. I'm worried. That's all I should say. I'm worried.
I got a couple.
Mm-hmm.
Right now is all the DC Johns.
But we don't really have anything yet, though.
We got 4.
All right, name them.
Flash, Blue Beetle.
Okay, so that's a movie, not a show. No.
It's a movie.
Yeah, I'm also terrified. I like the character, but maybe I got to see a trailer, bro. I have to see a trailer for me to get interested. For sure.
I seen a picture of the costume.
It looks okay.
Yeah, I was like, oh man.
Oh yeah, I see right now.
But it's Shazam and then Aquaman.
I like those characters. I enjoyed the first films. I just don't know, man. It's like Fury of the Gods. It just looks like a movie. I mean, maybe it's gonna be fun. I like Zachary Levi and stuff. I like the Shazam character. I just don't. I don't know. I just don't care.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's like I
Like,
want to care. I'm supposed to care. I love DC characters. I love DC brand. I love comics and stuff.
like my list for that. Oh shit! Like my list for those four
Yeah.
is Blue Beetle, Flash, then Shazam and Aquaman is like tied for.
Yeesh. I think Aquaman could possibly be the best of the two, but I don't know. I feel like they care more about the lore for Aquaman, but Aquaman. I'm sorry, I said Aquaman, but I also feel like they doubled down too hardcore, too much. I'm sorry, in the first film where it's like they didn't leave nothing open for Black Manta. Ocean Master is a whack villain, but Aquaman kind of has whack villains, so it's like don't push this movie, guys. It's like it looks good, the lore is interesting, but I don't think there's enough there. Like Ocean Master's a whack villain, man. You know, and it's not just he's whack just because he's like Aquaman's brother. He's like Ocean Master. He looks goofy. I mean, Aquaman looks goofy too, but yeah, just I think, and I think what's worse is that Aquaman is still a whack comic book character. There's some good runs. He is still a whack comic book character.
But you got people out here liking Namor.
But Black Panther was dope though, and Namor's dope in the comics too. He's part of the Illuminati, bro. And yes, I know Aquaman is a part of the Justice League, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Second, let me fix this. All right.
I don't know, bro. It's going to be interesting. Movies to look forward to. I don't know. We'll see. What happened? The camera froze?
Yeah.
Got you. And, you know, accidents happen technology-wise. There's nothing you can really do.
But after the DC movies, I got John Wick 4.
Looks fire?
Looks
fire?
And then I don't know how I feel about Mario.
I mean, you know what? I think it's too soon, really. I mean, like, he's an IP character that we're all familiar with, and we've never really been given like a full animated live action movie with that character before. So
I don't know if it's this year or next year, but it got announced that God of War is getting a show on Amazon.
You know, I did hear about that, and I almost don't know how to feel.
I don't know who they're gonna get.
Hold on for a second. Sorry, use the restroom real quick. Oh, they're gonna get Christopher Judge. That's what they're gonna do. And I have some stuff to say about that, man.
All right, we'll take a minute break real quick because we both got to use the bathroom. I gotta pee. And we're back. Had to go. What?
I apologize. That was impromptu. I apologize.
I had to go too.
Oh shit, that's hilarious. Yeah, I was like, drinking cranberry juice. I'm gonna be good, y'all.
What was I say?
Christopher Judge, man, like, look, bro, look.
Yeah,
First off,
he
he
said,
doesn't look like Kratos, and that's okay. He doesn't look. He doesn't have to look like Kratos. I know he has the voice, but it's like, do we really need a TV show? And I'm
yeah,
all about adaptations, bro. I
cause
am all about adaptations.
right now
Um,
that's a Sony plan. They they trying
you
to
mean
give they
you mean
trying
how
to
they want?
milk.
You mean how they want to be like? You mean how they want to be like Sega right now? Sega's got it, y'all. And look. And I get it. I get it. Sega only has the one movie right now,
Now I got Sonic.
and that's Sonic. Streets of Rage is coming though. Streets of Rage, right?
Yeah, but we had Uncharted.
Now, real quick about Uncharted. I personally loved the Uncharted movie. Yeah, I meant to say that. I loved it. I did. I enjoyed it, right? But they didn't double down. They didn't go ham it up. But from what little bit we were given, I liked it a lot. Tom Holland's a weird Nathan Drake, even for being younger Nathan Drake, because like Nathan Drake just looks young and weird in the games. But for me, no, that movie was felt like it felt like it was made by somebody who understood the games, and there was just maybe like a translation difference, maybe because like Nolan North has a certain type of voice about him, and the Nathan Drake character has a certain type of look about him as like the character, and you just get that, like, because it's funny because when you look at Nolan North as the voice actor, he looks nothing like Nathan Drake, and he even had a cameo in the movie, bro. So it's like I think it's one of those things where it's like, he's probably gonna have to grow on people, and I know they didn't really do that much makeup wise like that, but at the end, there was a moment where he kind of looked like Nathan Drake. Of course, he still had the ring on him the whole time, but like, he had the white T-shirt, he had the holster with the gun and the pants, and they were on a ship. You can't tell me he didn't kind of have that look, that Nathan Drake look at the end of the movie.
I
At the beginning
feel
of the movie,
I,
fine, I get it.
I feel like most people problem he just came from Spider-Man.
Right.
So now they seeing him in this, oh, that's still Spider-Man.
I mean, he's one of those actors that hasn't fully. He's one of those actors that hasn't fully become a chameleon yet, but he is a chameleon in every film. Like he plays every character very differently, very nuanced. But um, we're gonna get more adaptations for sure. Uh, I know Mario is not really an adaptation versus a live action take on this character. And I think they went the safer route to do animated because, like, the live action one, it kind of ruined people.
Yeah.
But that's what we had back in the day. Like, look at Street Fighter. We had a live action Street Fighter movie as well. We had a live action Mortal Kombat. We had a live action Double Dragon. We were not eating. We were not eating good back in the day for live action adaptations for video games. We were not eating good at all. It was rough, man. Far Cry, Blood Rain. We were not eating good.
Whoa.
We were not eating good video game adaptation wise. So Mario, I think Mario's gonna be fine. Jack Black seems to be the standout. I don't think Chris Pratt sounds bad. I don't feel he sounds bad. I know. I feel like I need another trailer for me, but I'm going to see it regardless.
Yeah,
I like the company that makes those films. I like the production company, the animation company. They're dope. So fingers crossed, man. We'll see. Fingers crossed. But John Wick 4 also looks really dope. But I can't say I'm super excited. Like, I'm excited, but it's a different kind of excited because like I love the John Wick franchise.
Yeah.
But I think what's funny about that franchise, it's so streamlined that it's like it almost feels like every movie can go into the next movie. Whereas like, no, this is John Wick 4. No, it's John Wick 3, and it's like it's so seamless that it's like it's more of what I love. Crazy over the top action, but for as excited as I am, I'm not that excited.
Then
then
earlier you named Spider-Man.
Yeah, but the Spider-Man thing bums me out because Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, 2 or whatever it's called, but it's gonna be part 1.
It's across
Part
the
2, part
Spider
1.
Verse.
I'm sorry. Yeah, so yeah. Across Spider-Verse part 1. And I told a coworker the other day, I would have felt better had they did something like Across Spider-Verse part 1 in January, and then part 2 in December or something like that. They were gonna do it, subsequent summers or whatever. Not subsequent, I guess, but like they were gonna do it because we were supposed to get part 1 last year, and then we were supposed to get part 2 this year, like one for each summer. Like, don't, I mean, 6 months, it's still 6 months, but it's how you split it up, right? And that gap was going to hurt more. Like, it always hurts when you see movies that are split up that way, where, like, just the year apart thing in general, where, like, I remember when it was Deathly Hallows Part 1 and Deathly Hallows Part 2, and it's like, why y'all splitting it like that? Like, just, like, look at Dune.
What about Endgame and Infinity War?
That hurt too. That hurt. The split hurt. I think the split hurt a lot. Hell, even the split didn't they do a split for Crisis on Infinite Earths for CW? They did a split for that too, right?
Yeah, but it was every day.
Yeah.
Was it every day, or was it all the same day? Just
yeah, but
it's been a minute.
I think it was all 1 week, but then for like the final one, it was like a gap in between, and I remember that gap hurting. Very badly, but I feel like the gap hurts, and I think the gap hurts more because I'm a big Spider-Man guy. I also don't care about the main villain, but I'm interested to see how they're going to utilize him. Like, the Spot's a whack character, bro. It's like dimensions and there's spots on my body. And you're like, you whack, bro.
They might make him a good villain.
He's a cheesy villain, and that's what makes villains great, when they're cheese. But it's like he doesn't have, like, charm, depth like a Doctor Doom.
You don't know that yet.
Or the Spot's whack in the comics, bro. You know what the Spot is like for Marvel? The Spot is like Psycho Pirate for DC, where it's like, I can dimensions and I see across them, and I can go across them, and it's like, all right, it's like you have a hack's power, you have an OP power. That doesn't make you special. You know what I mean? It just makes you overpowered. It just makes you dope in a different way. But we will see. I don't know what my most anticipated movie of this year
Transformers
is really. No. I'm a big Transformers fan, but I'm G1. Transformers G1 forever.
You don't fuck with Beast Wars?
I really tried. Optimus Primal, can't do it. And correct me if I'm wrong on this, right? Megatron was like a T-Rex, right? And
I don't even remember.
He was like a T-Rex, and he was like living in the cave, and he was so depowered that he transformed like once a season or something like that. And I was like, that was good, bro.
That was before my time.
And it was like, what's his name? Cheetor.
And that's the only one I remember.
And the only thing good about him was that he could run fast. And it's like, but they're robots. Like, they can all run fast. I know Cheetor's fast, right? But it's like, Megatron was so terrible of a villain. He was just hung up by wires in a cave, and he only transformed like, I don't know, once every 20 episodes, some more shit like that. And I was like, yo, this is whack. And it was whack to me as a kid, obviously, because I was young as hell back then. So yeah. Oh my god, my coworkers had me laughing because I feel like we should end it on this with the Transformers thing. I mean, that is like, what did they say in the trailer? There's something coming, and it's the worst thing ever. It's like, don't y'all say that every movie? You know, like the Dark of the Moon and Revenge of the Fallen is like just some big terror thing coming, and it's the worst thing ever. And it's like, but y'all said that last movie though. So it's like, who are you selling these movies to? And it's like, are they just kind of just, I don't know, forgetful. They just kind of dumb. Like, well, yeah, man, there's a big threat coming. All right, it's a big threat. So
What was I about to say? Did you do you care about any of the Marvel movies coming out?
hell yeah. I mean, Ant-Man, the Marvels. We need a trailer for that badly. We need a trailer for that movie badly because to me, those characters are really dope, and there needs to be a context set for what's popping. Like, I know what's going on with Kamala Khan already because she had her own show. Carol Danvers has kind of, you know, been out of it for a minute. Like, we saw her at the end of Shang-Chi a little bit. Like I need to be reminded about why I should care about Carol. I'm one of the Marvel fans that liked the first Captain Marvel, so you ain't got to sell me on that.
Not me.
And WandaVision,
That was
I
whack.
chuckled a little bit just now. Hey,
WandaVision
look,
was whack.
I love the Wanda Maximoff character. She was my favorite. She was one of my favorite things about Doctor Strange too, because I'm one of the people that likes Doctor Strange too. I didn't know that people didn't really bang with that movie really until after I saw it, and I was like, oh shit, people really don't really ride with this movie. Damn. All right. Yeah, I don't know. I like Evil Wanda. Evil Wanda and as a villain in that, and Elizabeth Olsen really just she did the thing. So I'm sold, bro.
Should have just had Magneto pull up and.
Yeah, but it's like he for many years since they retconned her origin, he's kind of like my dad but fake dad. So like, I mean, look, you can still make that work because like, if a lot of Marvel MCU fans or whatever are unfamiliar with the whole high evolutionary thing and the Pietro and Wanda just being like orphans or whatever, it's like we don't really know their real parents and they had the little cow godmother thing. You're like, look, bro, some characters have very funky origins, and at a certain point, you either just never cared because like the writers just never really cared, or you do something where like high evolutionary thing and cow godmother character thingy things and just like, bruh, don't mess it up even more. Like I think Wolverine has a very bad origin. I do not like Wolverine origins, the comic. So it's like
X-23.
Yeah, but I know she has to benefit from the James Howlett thing, but but no, remember she still wrote without that when she first appeared in X-Men Evolution, even though she's a better character in the comics. But in X-Men Evolution, they was like, no, it's cool. We acting like that thing that never happened because Evolution, it wasn't a bad show, but I think they didn't really go ham enough.
That was my shit.
It's dope, but I think the '90s cartoon still just had more
depth to it.
Yeah, even though I do like the Nightcrawler in X-Men Evolution a lot. Like, the Nightcrawler in that show is really dope.
And then,
he's probably one of my favorite characters, for sure. And I like how they doubled down more on the Brotherhood.
Yeah.
But MCU films this year, I'm all in. I'm definitely all in.
It's how many?
I think
how many is it?
For Marvel films this year?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's gonna be a lot. Ant-Man, the Marvels, and I don't know what else. Oh, and Guardians 3. I think we get Guardians 3. So yeah, that's gonna be wild. Guardians 3 is the one I want the most. Big Guardians fan, big James Gunn fan. James Gunn bias. I'm all about the guns. Pew pew pew.
That might
be corny as hell.
That might be the only one I'm excited for.
That movie's gonna destroy me. I've cried, right? Like I get very emotional, but with those Guardians of the Galaxy movies, they hit emotional things about like loss and grief and family and stuff like that. And those movies really dysfunctional fans for that matter. Some of us do, unfortunately, right? But
I don't do nothing to
me. No, but good comic book movies, good comic books, they do touch you. Touch your soul a little bit. They touch your
which one was
they touch your humanity, right?
The last one that did that was
Endgame for you.
Yeah.
You can rest now, Tony. You're like, oh shit. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. You're like, God damn it,
Yeah.
stop hitting me them feels, bro.
I only
On your left, all that, bro. We've talked about this off camera.
that only
It's
hit me
just
with Spider-Man. I
yeah, but I mean, I'm a Spider-Man bias, so it's kind of
cause
like, of
cause I
course.
went to see Infinity War with my friends. Everybody just dusting away, and I'm just sitting there like, guess y'all just get y'all gotta go. There, then
Yo, that's
they
savage, man.
then it goes to Peter and Iron Man and on the planet, and then Peter talk about
I think that was the one that was filmed the heaviest. That was
yeah
also improv and also just, I mean, just good acting, good
that one
comedic timing, and
that one hit the hardest.
well, I mean, look, also the look on Downey Jr.'s face as Iron Man, where Peter just in his arms and he's like he does that kind of thing. You're like, okay, that's heavy, that's
Yeah.
heavy. There aren't any comic movies that's ever really like done that. I mean, we're gonna get Rocket's origin and Guardians and all that. I'm gonna be a mess. I'm gonna be a hot mess, bro.
Then I was watching
I'm a guy saying hot mess, but I'm gonna be a hot mess. Um,
then I was watching Under the Red Hood this morning.
it's a good movie. It's a
It
good movie.
it hit me.
It still holds up animation wise for sure. I think there are other better Batman animated films like Phantasm and stuff, but Under the Red Hood is definitely dope. It's up there for sure. Like
Listen,
Batman Beyond,
I,
Return of the Joker is one of my favorites too.
I felt it when he was like, I don't care that you what was it? He was like I'm just mad he's still alive.
Oh yeah.
Cause cause he took me away from you, and I was like, oh man.
That is heavy. That is heavy. I
Cause
think doesn't he follow that with like I think he follows it with "I'm sorry, Jason." Like he says it again. Uh, that is one of the few animated films with that version of Batman that I like because I do not like that. I do not like that adaptation of Batman, like how his cowl looks and the voice actor that does that Batman voice. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. I like Roger Craig Smith's Batman voice a lot, actually. He only did the voice once for the Batman Ninja film, which was really dope. But movies this year, the MCU movies are probably gonna destroy me. Um, do we get Sonic 3 this year?
I don't remember.
I don't know. I don't
Let
think we
me
get Sonic 3.
let me see.
'Cause I know I grabbed my phone at the same time. It's hilarious, you know. But yeah, that would probably blow me up too badly. Like I would be eating very good as a film watcher guy.
December
Uh,
20, 2024.
Damn, man, that's whack, bro. That's whack.
Cause we about to
Uh,
get Shadow.
yeah, I mean, I'm looking at your list too, by the way, here too. One Punch Man, uh, Kenshin, Jobs of Reincarnation, Blue Exorcist. Yeah, bro, look. This is gonna be a weird one, yo. Bleach, heavy. One Punch Man, I think they just recently announced
Is season
season
3.
3.
Yeah.
The manga just got it. The manga's coming back. There was an article the other day, update for One Punch Man, the manga.
I've been reading it.
I I think you write Blue Exorcist on that list just now
Yeah.
too as well. I need to watch season 1. I hear that's pretty good,
Fire.
but I also hear it doesn't follow the manga very well, and so season 2. So it's like I'm a loose fan at that point, right?
It
So it's
don't
like I
matter.
need to really no because look at them the Full Metal situation, right? The first Full Metal, not the one that's not Brotherhood, that didn't really follow the manga, and it's not bad, but it's not Brotherhood. I have sadly never finished Brotherhood, but I've read a fair amount of the manga, but I'm aware again it's different for sure. Um, I like isekais. I've never seen Jobless Reincarnation,
My
but
shit.
I do like isekais though. Uh,
Uh,
I did like what's his face a little bit. Sword Art, but Sword Art's aged very strangely. I think
Listen,
I think I just like it for the fights, but I don't really care about the story.
the last Sword Art that came out was fire.
I heard it was. I heard the games are actually pretty good too. I'm actually surprised you don't really play the games. I hear they're actually pretty fun.
I played one of them.
Okay. Like I hear the Gun Gale one is good, and the other one is probably really, really good too.
But then I don't know if you've seen this one, Solo Leveling.
Yeah, I have to look that up. I'm not sure. That's my first time hearing about this one.
Fire.
It better be. It better be, because like both you and I are very biased for what we like.
Nothing but fire.
But yeah, I'll have to check that out. Solo Leveling. I'm about to make a note for that, because I've never heard of it, and I've been very close to The Wire or whatever on what I've been watching and liking, like My Hero, Chainsaw Man, and Bleach. Those were the only shows I kind of kept up with. Prior to that, some of the CW stuff that I did watch a little bit at one point in time, but then I kind of fell off with the CW stuff. Like I only watched Superman and Lois. Then I got spoiled. I never watched Stargirl, but I heard it was really, really good.
Listen, I watched Arrow to the wheels fall off.
You damn sure did. Jeez. I'm looking at this artwork. It looks dope for Solo Leveling. I'm gonna have to check it out. It looks fire. Yeah, it looks really dope.
I'm telling you. I was there when it only had 3 chapters.
Jeez. That's always rough starting something like that, like a new series or whatever.
And then I be mad because I be finding all these fire manga and they only be like 2-3 chapters in.
And that's always the hardest and the roughest when you start anything new.
And then I
think even for me, like with the OG Naruto, I started reading the manga very, very late when I jumped in with the anime, and I used to watch the anime on VHS tapes that were bootlegs, because that's how we had to get it back in the day, where like internet and streamed episodes. There was no Crunchyroll back in the day. Isn't that crazy? That is crazy, right? That there was no Crunchyroll 20 years ago, but it was Crunchyroll because you know what? I think it was Crunchyroll, but they were known as bad dubbers and bad. Do you remember that when Crunchyroll, they were not as popular as they were back then, and they were known as just like the bad anime dubber guys?
Listen, 20 years ago I was 8.
Oh shit! Yes, man. Crunchyroll. They were an enemy of the anime community, yo.
But what
they were shitty. So
the only VHS tapes I had was Dragon Ball Z, The History of Trunks, and the Bardock episode.
Those are really dope ones too. Specials actually, but those are specials though.
Yeah.
They were still fire.
That Trunks one hit different though.
Yeah, it's a weird one. I mean, it's like continuity wise, it works, but then it doesn't work, and you're just like, I feel for it, but I don't know how to feel. At the end of the day, you're like,
it's future Trunks. What you mean it didn't?
Yeah, but then you look at future Trunks now, or whatever, and then it's like the Dragon Ball Super Heroes sequel, super manga and all that. Look, it's weird right now. He's got the Great Saiyan Man thing going, and it's like, bruh.
That's a different Trunks.
I know.
He grew up in a peaceful time.
Yeah, I know.
He's soft.
Weird. But I like Trunks as a character though.
I like Goten more, man. Even though
Goten, I've always felt Goten had untapped potential for great writing, but Toriyama just might be tired. But I don't know. I mean, like, look what he did to Broly. He refreshed that character, made him cooler, made him more, made him more nuanced, gave him depth and everything. Like the whole thing with the boss ear and everything. It's like, bruh, this was missing. Rather than just saying Kakarot, you're just like.
If I was him, I would have just remade every character from the movies and be like.
He definitely could do that. He might not though. He just might not care because like, hey, I mean, it's like, bro. But remember, Broly was very, very, very popular.
You got
depending on the translation. It's either Turris or Turles, whatever, right? Not a popular character.
We got
Lord
Goku Black.
Slug, Lord Slug, not popular.
But we got Cooler.
Bojack,
We got
not cover,
Janemba.
but those characters are popular though.
Yeah.
So
he could remake them.
He should. He definitely should.
Because
what I thought, Janemba, dope.
What I thought was before Superhero came out, the way the Broly movie ended, Frieza was like, I can't keep fighting these people by myself. So I thought he was about to go get his brother.
Which he should. And that could be very interesting. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you saw, there's some new manga animated thing called Sandland from Toriyama. Yeah. So, oh boy. And you know, I think he still actually does the artwork for the Dragon Quest games too. So like the man's doing a lot. He's doing a lot. I know Toyotaro is kind of like, you know, the new guy in charge, but he ain't the OG master man guy.
Yeah, he took over for Dragon Ball.
You can't take over when the original guy is still there. This is not a Lucas Arts separated thing.
Listen, man.
And Filoni still consults Lucas.
I want Toyotaro to go back and finish his manga.
Nah, he's better with the real stuff, the real deal.
Nah, I need him to go back and finish that.
You're being a copy man, you know. You're Scott Storching it. So
listen, his Dragon Ball AF was fire.
It was not.
Yes, it was.
Do not tell your fans. Do not tell your audience that AF.
That shit was fire. I don't know what you're talking about.
I forgot all about that, man. The wacky artwork and just the fan artwork of just characters with long sand hair that just touch the ground. Their hair's in trash bags now and shit. You're like, bruh.
What are you talking about? It was just Super Saiyan 3.
Super Saiyan 3 my ass. It was Super Saiyan 4.
No, it was Super Saiyan 5.
5 and all, yeah, that stuff was crap, bro.
Nah, that shit was fire. I don't know
why would you torture your fans like that, man? It's not cool.
Super Saiyan 5 was fire.
I'm sorry, man. How can you say that with a straight face?
Because it was fire.
Not only is the name extra redundant and making it extra, nah, man. Look. I'm one of the, and I will flat out I will flat out die on that hill that I like Super Saiyan Blue, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan whatever. But
I like Super Saiyan 4.
It is a bit much. Super Saiyan 4 is kind of whack.
Whoa. There's disrespect.
The character design was always pretty cool, but Super Saiyan 4 as a like a thing, as a transformation.
No, it wasn't.
You know it's a little whack, bro. He had to grow his tail back. And the red eyes and the fur and those dumb ass blue pants. I'm good, bro. I'm good. That's on some Incredible Hulk stretchy blue pants thing. I'm cool.
Nah, man.
I'm cool, bro. Give me red hair Super Saiyan God. I'm cool with that.
Give me red fur Super Saiyan 4. What are you talking about?
I forgot Toyotaro did that stuff, man.
Listen, that shit was fire.
I think hilariously and overall, before we finalize everything here,
that's how he got picked for the.
I would imagine I would probably enjoy and or less hate Boruto more. Dragon Ball AF is not good, bro. I'm sorry.
Whoa.
But
it's better than Boruto. What are we talking about?
No, it's not. You know it, man. You know it's not, man.
For 100% fact, Boruto is bullshit.
That damn burrito manga is whack, and I know it. I hear they're moving into some new arc now, and I'm just like, yo, the whole horn thing with the Usoski and all that. I can't do it, man. I can't. I just Naruto went too far into the stratosphere alien stuff by the end.
They're not even fighting ninjas. They fighting aliens.
Yeah, I can't do it, bro. Even though I did watch a clip of the Sarada and Chocho fight. It was dope though.
But
real quick now, since I mentioned Boruto, I don't know how much of you watch or what you've seen. There's lightsabers in that show. They have like laser swords.
Yeah.
Why don't they just double down on that? I can't do it, bro.
Cause it's ninja tools, and Boruto is a scum ass little nigga. This little,
I remember looking at like a screenshot panel thing.
This little nigga mad disrespectful.
I was like, wait, is that a lightsaber, bro? I mean, of course, you know, it's a laser sword. That's kind of, you know, that's not George Lucas's fault. Like, there were always laser swords in science fiction before lightsabers, but
he
the lightsaber is I know it's I can't do it, man. And again, I also have, because I have like the love-hate relationship with like Naruto and even Shippuden for that matter. It could be worse. Not to forget, looking at your list, Rurouni Kenshin's coming back.
Yeah.
Controversially so, we can't really talk about the creator. If you don't know, go look it up. But Rurouni Kenshin's coming back, and the remake looks dope.
That man out here moving like the Flash.
I wonder though, if they're remaking the anime or / manga into the anime. The movie was always its own thing, but I wonder will they reanimate the movie, because the Rurouni Kenshin movie is dope. Or was it the Samurai X movie? I forget how it was titled. But that Rurouni Kenshin movie, I remember that Rurouni Kenshin movie being really fire.
Listen, if I was them, I'd just go to the 90s and remake everything.
Don't say that.
Bring back.
We're getting the prequel thingy thing to Trigun, which looks.
I don't give a fuck about that shit.
It looks dope, man. When I went to art school way back then, I never told you this. When I went back to art school way back in the day, I was introduced to Trigun from one of my best friends, and it changed my life.
I only seen
because I went to school for computer animation, and my homie was like, "Bro, you can't ride out as an artist in computer animation and even be a fan of anime if you haven't seen certain animes, like the Miyazaki stuff, the Miyazaki stuff, the Masami Obari's and stuff like that, bro. Like the Fatal Fury animations, Street Fighter 2 animated movie. Like there's some stuff you gotta watch.
Ain't nobody gonna tell me
should have seen
about my anime fandom.
No, but those were like the pioneer guys. Like and keep it on it. I'm not gonna act like I'm some kind of elitist, because there's some stuff that I missed. Like, I still have to watch Perfect Blue. I still have to watch Paprika. There's some other ones that I still have seen. I still want to rewatch some older classics and stuff like that, so to kind of have a different lens now.
I only seen Trigun because
Trigun is so fire.
I seen the movie. I ain't never watched the show.
The movie is good, but the anime is better, but the movie's good though, for sure.
Listen,
the movie's very dope. Like, the Gashback character is weird, but there's a character in the anime that's very similar called Brilliant. His name is so hilarious. I looked it up the other day.
It's the nigga with the cross?
No, but there's a bunch of those dudes in the manga too, and that's why they got cut out of the anime, because everybody has like a cross Punisher, cross gun thing. And you're like, yo, the gun-ho guns, they are out of control in the manga, because there's like 20 of them dudes, and they all the same. Like, Monef the Gale and Leopard the Gauntlet, they're almost the same character. And then there's another guy, like E.G. Mon, who's also in the anime too. It's like, yo, there's too many large dudes with guns, or just large robot dudes and stuff. And you're just like, look, too many. Millions Knives is a kind of an asshole in the manga. So it's like, I just want a gang of dudes, you know. And then you have your subtle, more nuanced, like the Zazie, the Beast, stuff like that. But now Trigun the anime, I recommend you watch it for sure. Especially the English dub. Especially because Johnny Young Bosch is so dope. English dub. Yo, no, but check it.
It's morphin' time.
Even though he does the voice of Ichigo, he has nuance. He has nuance with
he Broly now.
Yeah, but you know,
I didn't like that.
I still
they did my man's dirty.
They did, but I mean, hey, look, the whole rollout with that not having a great lawyer or whatever, and just everybody throwing him under the bus.
Facts.
I'm not saying no names, but he did kind of get thrown under the bus. Whereas like there's no love in the voice actors community or whatever, and it's a whole mess, bro.
But what
But
about some?
but
My top anime under Dragon Ball is Sayuki.
I've never seen it. I've always heard
That's
it's
my
good though.
shit.
Quick segue. Actually, maybe not segue. Double back. Now he was in the news and out of the news very fast. Vic Mignogna. Did you see what he did a few months ago on like a Zoom call, a Zoom mobile call thing? Did you see what he did?
No.
He was on a Zoom mobile call with a couple of women,
Oh man.
and he wasn't wearing any underpants, and he stood up in front of the camera. So I don't know if he's canceled again, but he wilding, bro. And I was like, God.
It's over for that man.
Hey, look, I mean, it might not be over. I mean, did you see the article? An official article from the official trades in the Hollywood sphere. Some Warner Brothers execs want to keep Ezra Miller. They want to keep him. They want to keep them. So they want to keep them.
But
so
James Gunn is said, fuck out of here with all that.
He didn't say that. It's been alluded that James Gunn might not be able to save them. So we will have to wait and see after the movie. Because, bro, like, you can't trust any of the journalists because, like, they're journalists. And you can't go by what they're saying, even if, like, say The Flash makes $1 billion.
James Gunn been coming out. Every report says, oh, this is happening with DC. Yeah. James Gunn came out. No, it's not.
Oh, yeah,
I'm not doing that.
No. And unless it comes from the horse's mouth.
Yeah, he was like, don't believe none of these people. It's only 2 people that knows what's going on with DC right now.
Well, he did say, not he did. Yeah. James Gunn, it was a report. Well, there was a report that this month, we're gonna hear half of that rollout.
Yeah.
I need the whole rollout, man. Don't tease me with half, bro. This, and my coworker was laughing at me. He was laughing at my anger because I'm like, yo, journalist after journalist after journalist after journalist after journalist. James Gunn is going to do this. James Gunn should do this. It's like, let the man say what he's going to say first, and then we talk about it. Because it's like, it's not even a clickbait articles at this point.
It's just like lies.
No, not even that so much. Is that it's like everyone is making videos about what James Gunn could kind of sort of would do, whatever. It's like, bro, talk about something else until James Gunn says what he says. Maybe I'm just jealous because I'm not a big YouTuber yet. Maybe I'm jealous. I'm not a YouTuber yet or whatever. Look, I get it, bro. I get it. If it's news of sorts, James Gunn said this thing. And it's like, yeah, but just say James Gunn's going to do this thing. Cool, whatever. Report you out. But it's like, no, man, I want James Gunn to do this. And the Superman casting and all that is like, yo, stop it. Stop it. Like, I don't know if you follow John Campia.
Yeah.
He's got videos of like fan Batman casting. And it's like,
who should be the next Batman?
And I'm sitting here like I'm watching the video and I'm like, all right, y'all had some good picks, quote unquote good picks. But what did they say at the end of the video?
He had one of my picks up there. I ain't gonna lie.
It's like, bro,
you already know my pick.
You already said there's no script. So what? So it is what it is. There's no script.
They just gonna take Ben Affleck's script and then repurpose it.
But we don't even really know if the script was good or not.
It's Ben Affleck. What do you mean?
Some sort of Arkham Asylum script or whatever. I don't know, bro. I don't know. I'm a big fan of Matt Reeves' take on the character right now. So
not me.
I mean, whatever we get from Affleck, maybe. We'll see. James Gunn has got to focus on one character right now. He's Superman first.
That's what he said. He said he's right now.
And then everything else has to follow that. So
he said right now he's writing Superman. Then I'm guessing.
And that's the only character that matters right now.
And
I mean, look, Superman's important, bro.
He's guessing
important for the DC and it's important for just comic book characters in general and just the comic book whatever. It's like, yo, we live in a comic book ran Hollywood whatever, and it's like we do not have a top tier Omega level shut everything down Superman movie, and I think that's possible because Superman is just that type of character where like he's supposed to kind of be like the guy. Like
Listen, man.
he's such an interesting character that you can have in any kind of like, you know, nuanced story because he's a guy from Kansas. That's not really a guy from Kansas. That's a guy from Krypton. Like this, we know who he is. But again, the type of movie that can be made for that kind of character.
They had
Because
we've
seen
had a
bits
John
and
and
pieces, though.
everything.
I mean, look, bro, we've seen bits and pieces from various Superman films, like Man of Steel, like Superman Returns, like the OG Superman. Different levels of like, you know, majestic wonder from this character, and we don't have one, right? You and I've talked about this before off camera, so it's like
I seen before he got rid of Henry, it was gonna be Man of Steel 2 was supposed to be him, Kara, and they're fighting Brainiac.
I don't believe it. I
Hey.
don't believe it.
That's why they took the Flash cameo out, because it was it was Superman and Wonder Woman fighting Brainiac.
Really quickly here, because I don't know if it's in casting or not on IMDb. IMDb is official, but also goofy as hell. But
fuck.
The Flash. I have to look this up real quick. I have to apologize here. I'm looking at the camera on camera, right? But
I can tell you everybody who's in it.
They're saying that
the main villain is General Zod,
which is really, that sounds so terrible. Sasha Kaye, I think that's how you pronounce her name.
Yeah.
It just says Supergirl. It doesn't say Kara Danvers. Doesn't say Kara Zor-El. That's
because
she looks like the Supergirl from the Injustice comic. So I'm like, bruh, like, what do y'all? I'm a Supergirl fan. Just give me more Supergirl, and I don't care. I will be there day one with any kind of ticket, right? But it's like
she's probably gonna be Kara, but
I'm okay with a Kara from any, you know, nationality, race, whatever. I don't care. Give me Kara. Give me a character. But we don't know what they're doing. And what? Are we even gonna get like a really good teaser trailer for Super Bowl? You heard about that, right? Super Bowl?
Yeah.
I know you're gonna be in there because you ain't got no choice at this point. It's like if they're saying there's gonna be a Flash trailer, Super Bowl, you have to be on job and on deck. So
I gotta find out what day that is so I can take off.
I know. But to be fair, even if you don't see the trailer live, you'll still see the trailer. But I don't want that smoke. I don't want to wait. I'm very curious for this Flash film, but I'm afraid for the Flash film. And it seems to be the second most important DC film right now. Superman is definitely more important for sure, but that's still being written. We don't have no casting, all that stuff. So, right now, that Superman movie is pretty much Kingdom Hearts 4. It doesn't exist.
If I was them,
I just like making jokes about Kingdom Hearts because I know you're waiting. And you had to wait 15 years for Kingdom Hearts 3.
No, I didn't.
And it almost didn't come.
You had to wait like 2 years.
Kingdom Hearts 3, bro, don't tell that lie. Before we finalize everything and finish all this up, don't tell that lie on camera. How long was it between Kingdom Hearts 2 and 3?
Because after Kingdom Hearts 2, you get Birth by Sleep. Then after that, you get Dream Drop Distance. After that, like... Y'all gotta be serious with y'all stuff.
It's a main number game. Kingdom Hearts 3. Kingdom Hearts 2, not Kingdom Hearts spinoff, Kingdom Hearts spinoff, Kingdom Hearts spinoff, and I
There,
know they're all important.
there is no such thing as a Kingdom Hearts spinoff because everything is important.
It's not a numbered entry, bro. Sorry,
but
not a numbered entry.
But you can't just play Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, I'm aware, and I'm aware that's why a lot of Kingdom Hearts fans were eating good, but were also upset. It's not a numbered entry. Sora's not older. Keyblade War.
He wasn't older than in 3.
I digress. Random clone Xehanort, whatever bald evil guy dude, and you're like, bruh. I just look. I'll jump in. I'm not trying to hate, but again, it's not a numbered entry. Numbered entries matter.
Every entry matter.
Not more than the big numbers though, which is strange because they are following. No, check it, bro.
Birth by Sleep is.
You can tell me how important that game is, but it's not a numbered entry. Like the numbered entry for anything is like a chapter. It's like a chapter placing, right? It is 1, it is 2, it is 3. I mean, granted, it is still a sequel of sorts, but those numbered entries, they matter the most. Those are like key moments, like that you have the mature Riku, you got the older Kairi and whatnot.
1, 2, 3 is just the story of Sora.
So I've heard.
And then, what is it? 1, 2, and 3 is the story of Sora, Riku, Kairi. Birth by Sleep is Aqua, Terra, Venus.
This is too much, bro. It's too much.
3, what's that shit? 365 and Chain of Memories is a story of Roxas, Axel, and Xion.
Why do you torture your fans with this shit,
yo?
This is being a Kingdom Hearts fan has to be hard.
Knowledgeable information.
It has to be a very hard thing. Like I'm a fan of some franchises and stuff that's rough too, bro. But
it's like being a Marvel fan or a DC fan.
It's way easier to be a Marvel fan for sure, or a DC fan.
I'm talking about a comic book reader.
And this is, but remember, you and I've had this conversation off camera. This is why manga is a little bit more loved, if not more loved, by the end of the standards by this point, where it's like, hey, manga's easier and manga's more loved because it's more.
It's only one person, one story. It's not 30 different iterations of this one character.
Yeah, but the Kingdom Hearts thing but isn't that just still one dude who's just a weird maniac guy on some like, man, Kingdom Hearts is just a big universe and it's like, yo, I remember when people didn't think Kingdom Hearts 3 was real. I remember that. It was just a teaser photo. It was just a 3, and it was just like a long drought. Hell, at that time, Utada Hikaru was still retired, bro.
It was because
she was still retired.
Listen, it was because of the guy at Square Enix that got fired.
Yeah, well, you know what? You're right. You're right. Let me not tell that lie. I'm also aware that
he forced them.
Was it Final Fantasy 15? They kind of was like, you still had to wait.
No, I'm talking about something different.
Okay.
The head guy at Square Enix, I think they were like halfway done with Kingdom Hearts 3. Yeah. He was like, I need y'all to restart and use a whole different engine.
Oh.
And then they couldn't port over files from Kingdom Hearts 2 because they lost them.
I forgot that's the thing that happens in the video game industry of like losing game files, game source files. Which is why a lot of games get remade because these developers just lose them. And sometimes they just get lost forever and never remade.
Yeah.
Like I forget, I'm a big Sega dude. I forget. They said they lost the source file for one of those games. It was like it's just gone forever. It might be Burning Rangers. I think that game might just be lost.
Whatchamacallit? That's why when you play like Kingdom Hearts 2
Yeah.
Vital Mix, the villains got different colors.
Really?
Yeah, like some of the bosses have different colors than in the original game because the files got lost. So
Jeez.
they was just
The struggle is real for you, isn't it, sir?
nah.
The struggle is real.
I have faith.
You, you just have to be patient.
I'm a man of faith.
Yo, you're gonna have gray hair by the time Kingdom Hearts 4 comes out. And you're lucky that you're getting a next number entry.
I got something
Not
now.
not like a Kingdom Hearts. Wait, so hold up. So check it. You don't
Nah,
have do you have a Nintendo Switch? Because we talked about this earlier.
fuck
Nintendo Switch
no.
with that other would you not argue that music game is important?
It's on the PS5.
That music game. Oh, it is?
Yeah. You already know everything is on PlayStation.
Everything is not on PlayStation.
Yes, it is. Every Kingdom Hearts game is on
Hold
PlayStation.
Goddamn lie. Hold up. It's not.
You missed it when I told you to get all the free Kingdom Hearts game. It's called
Yeah,
Melody of Memory,
that's what it is. Okay.
and it's about Kyrie.
So it's on PlayStation. Oh wait, it's also on Xbox, but it's
Yeah.
not a. It didn't get it did so wait it didn't get a physical release on Xbox though, right? Is that what it is? Is that what the? I think that's why I forgot it didn't get a physical release on Xbox, which is whack, bro.
Then then you
Hold up, they didn't do that.
Xbox had to wait a whole year for Kingdom Hearts 3 DLC.
Yeah, that's fine. That is what it is. At least Kingdom Hearts 3 is. That was a weird thing though. I was like, Kingdom Hearts is coming to Xbox? Holy shit. Okay. All right. It's no longer a PlayStation exclusive, right? Death to PlayStation exclusives. You know, that's not my whole MO. Obviously, I just like laughing at exclusive games.
Oh no.
No longer
Don't jack
no
that
longer
around
stay
here.
no longer stay exclusive. Because like look, a lot of games have been on PC for years too, so it's like whatever. But I think we covered a lot, we covered a lot. But
Please, only
some of the topics are definitely for other podcasts for sure.
yeah.
Um,
I got
hopefully you made notes of that because
I got
we kind of
one
went off topic a little bit.
I
So
got one last one I need to talk about before this shit
okay,
over. See this right here? This right here?
well, all I see is a green Sharpie.
To represent my guy. My guy is back. See this right here? I asked for one thing and one thing only from the final season of The Flash.
Yeah,
And
they
it was
said one episode he's coming back for. Though.
that's all I asked for. One thing from the final season of The Flash.
It should.
And that is Oliver Queen coming back.
I would argue this season is not only the most important, but it's gonna hit heavy for you. I think definitely heavier than me because like you were there at the beginning, and I jumped in late with Arrow cameo on the Flash and everything like that.
Yeah,
the Flash cameo on the Arrow. I'm sorry.
I was like
and
in
then
I was like in high school.
that's just crazy. But no, man. I mean, everybody's coming back, bro. Everybody's coming back now. Will OG Wells come back? Right? Will OG Dawn? Right? Like will everybody come back? Everybody that's not dead, right?
Listen,
Um,
for
like
me,
will OG Firestorm, right?
for me, the only people I need back is Oliver and Kara. Because whenever Oliver and Barry is on screen together,
yeah, they had great on screen chemistry, which is why I'm so weird about this Flash film because the movie took forever, got pushed back forever.
the movie got announced before the show even started. Now the movie's gonna come out after the show ends. Like,
yeah, a lot of the journalists was talking about that too, but I mean, it's like, look, it's where we are right now, where it's like COVID and bad scripts, unfinished scripts. Look what happened to Blade, bro.
That ain't
I know we talk about Blade, where it was like,
Blade ain't never coming up.
they was like, yeah, there's only 2 fight scenes for the Blade film, and the fight scenes are whack, and the script is not good, and the movie wasn't going to be really dark and like that. And I'm just like, and then now we have the, Lovecraft Country directors. So it's like, it's weird, bro. It's weird.
But what y'all call it?
But yeah, I will say that I'm also kind of happy that
I got my one wish.
Stephen Amell's coming back. Yeah, I think that's going to be the most important episode for sure. Still though, it's like, seeing how Barry turned out and everything, and I think Amell missed the character as well too. And Stephen Amell, I think he's a dope actor, man. But he's been chilling just being an actor, and not so much as like I gotta be in all these projects, do all these things. I like how Amell is just carving out a nice history for himself, a nice career. I mean,
I know he felt the way how, cause he even said it, like he felt the way how Oliver died. He was like nobody was there. I had to act to tennis balls.
Yeah, but look. You and I never talked about this before. Maybe off camera versus next time on camera, whatever. The CW, they definitely were not perfect for sure. We know this, and there were a lot of issues and stuff like that. But they know damn well that they should not have done that. Opposite some of the other things controversially that happened.
I felt like they was trying to push his kid, and I'm like, get her out of here. Nobody want her. Like, go be Arrow in the future. Like, get out of here. Like,
right. I mean, it could be worse, bro. They did do an ending for the show. The show had many seasons. I don't know if you like the later seasons of Arrow versus the couple of early ones, whatever.
The best seasons were the early seasons, but I think it was.
I sadly can't agree because I didn't watch them all.
I think
I know it's disrespectful, right? But
it might have been season 7,
right?
Where
he really had like what 10 seasons almost, something like that, like 9 seasons.
He stopped at 8.
Jeez.
Because I was like, all you had to do was go for 2 more seasons, yo.
People were done with Arrow, bro. You know that. People were kind of done.
Nah.
All the smoke, Felicity stuff, and
but
Diggle. Like, bro, let's keep it 100 though. Didn't they do the weird thing where like Diggle got the ring and like in Crisis, and then it was like, well, you got Diggle now. I'm not saying it's like you don't have him Team Arrow no more, but it's like you got Diggle.
We don't care about him. We care about Oliver.
Either he was gonna have his own show at that point, or be like, you have Team Arrow and you have Diggle. The show's over now.
They was just teasing people.
Yeah, they said he's gonna be on the Flash as well, right?
Yeah.
And isn't that kind of corny they did that with that character? I think he was on I think Diggle was on Superman and Lois and he didn't do anything.
Yeah, like and then Superman and Lois got me mad because it's in a different universe.
Now they're also,
and I was like, why would
are you also still gonna try to like finish that out? You think, or like because it's a different actor for season 3 now, right? Because the bull, he said like real life depression or something like that, so he's out.
Yeah. Like my thing was, how you gonna have Diggle come on and be like, Oliver would have did this. And y'all not even the same people, like.
Look, man, the CW is in a weird place right now where like they kind of have nothing. Yeah. What do they have? The Supernatural reboot, right? Isn't that it? Supernatural reboot.
It's not a reboot. It's
and that Gotham Knights show that's probably gonna be still kind of maybe bad or whatever. I mean, like Stargirl's canceled. Superman and Lois. We'll have to see with season 3. I hear season 2. I hear season 2 wasn't very good of Superman and Lois, so
it was okay.
I mean, season 1 seemed pretty solid, right? So
season 1 was solid. season 2 was like 2 notches under that.
Yeah, I don't know, bro. But you know what's weird? I guess before we and at this point, because like you brought
Yeah.
up Green Arrow, cinematically, live action, opposite, opposite Stephen Amell and stuff like that is like, I'm sure James Gunn definitely maybe wants to would like to bring that character, but it's like I don't know. I feel like there's some big shoes to fill. CW actors wise, for sure. Like they've been with us for a long time. We grew with these actors, grew with these characters. They were these characters were for the first time in a long time giving lots of love and special attention. Where like
He was in
Flash,
Smallville.
no, no, we don't talk about Smallville. Even
Whoa,
though they
whoa,
did kind
whoa,
of
whoa.
no, but remember they gave us the final whatever, right? In Crisis, so
But that Green Arrow died in Crisis.
and
The Smallville Green Arrow.
I mean, hey, look, well, he was whack. So what do you want? You have Stephen Amell. You should be happy with the one you have.
Yeah,
The better one, right?
My Oliver would never.
You're Oliver. That's hilarious. I mean, but look, I feel like with James Gunn doing a little weird reboot thing, you can bring everyone in and give them love and care and character development and go in. And you can even use CW as a blueprint or just not, but James Gunn is a fan.
He said he's a fan. He's using what's that shit? The old Justice League cartoon.
Which is not a bad blueprint. It's not.
Yeah.
I mean, because you got like the Tim Daly Superman, then Conroy Batman,
then that
Clancy Brown's Lex and stuff. It's
that went in the Batman Beyond. We got. Hopefully, we still getting Static Shock.
I've given up hope on Static, even though James Gunn might give a shit and still might do it. Yeah, he did tease
Mr. Terrific.
Yes, and he did tease Lobo. So it's all about waiting. I think.
Oh, you heard?
You mean I've seen the article.
You heard Aquaman is Lobo now?
I mean, that still seems rumor heavy though. I mean, like we still got the Aquaman 2 movie, and then what you do is like what?
They're gonna
reboot with another actor playing Aquaman.
Yeah.
Even though I do like Momoa as Aquaman, if somebody takes over, I wouldn't be mad.
Like, oh shit, the way I dropped the charger.
Oh, that's funny.
The way I would have just ended everything, I would have just went out in a bang. Like, here's your Superman movie, here's your Wonder Woman movie, but I would add it at the end of each movie, like a big ass wave just washes over. Not like wave, but like
they didn't have a plan though, and the plans they kind of sort of had were the Snyder sort of plans, and I mean stuff just didn't work out because of COVID, corporate greed, studio interference. Because James Gunn said in a tweet last month there will be new studio interference because we're doing this. Like we're not going to interfere with our own work.
Because the new owner they gave DC their own studio now.
I still don't trust Zack Snyder, but I trust him. I trust him, but I don't trust him. So we'll see.
But what was about to say?
Because like I mean, look, man, Cavill still might have a job at DC. Affleck has a job there, open if he wants it or whatever.
Yeah, I seen.
But as of right now, we all just gotta wait, and I hate the waiting, and I hate even more so not even knowing what the rollout's just gonna be. Yeah. So
I feel like we just gotta wait till after this year.
I can't wait that long. I can't even hold you. I can't. I can't because I am a fan of this particular filmmaker who's now co-CEO of an opposite rival, whatever. But it's like, look, I like James Gunn's writing. I like how he approaches characters, filmmaking, all that stuff. Like the fights were so bananas in the Suicide Squad. Every character felt like they were all giving love and care and backstory, and like you care about these characters, even though they're villains and stuff like that. Thing though is that
even in Peacemaker, you felt it.
Yes.
Like, you felt sorry for John Cena, like.
I mean, I really just feel like his take on Superman could be really cool, and I just don't want to have to just wait because we shouldn't have had to have wait. I mean, like Man of Steel is not a bad movie, but it definitely could have been better for sure.
Right.
Um, and it's just like we should have been in a different place. We had BBS, and it wasn't the BBS we should have gotten, but it was a BBS that happened, right? It's like God damn, the Dark Knight, the Dark Knight Returns. Like we had that fight already. We had the pseudo scrimmage and the world's finest. We already had stuff that set the blueprint of like what to expect, how bananas it could have been.
You,
Great actors in Cavill and Affleck.
you gotta
Um,
blame the previous
it's
studio
DC's fault.
heads.
It's DC's fault for sure. It's their fault for sure. But blaming them still kind of has us in a waiting period.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know, bro. But I think we covered all your topics. Um,
Oh, yeah.
went off the rails a little bit, but did highlight a couple things that I think needed to be talked about a
Oh
little
yeah.
bit.
Before this end,
Mm-hmm.
I do this on every episode. I gotta give a manga recommendation.
Dope, dope.
Uh, the manga. Where's my mouse? The
I mean,
manga.
I could just say My Hero, Chainsaw Man, nothing else.
Nah. You gotta guys read some good quality material.
I can dig it.
But I'm trying to see how many chapters it's got. It's not a lot.
Do you read Kaiju number 8? I hear that was really dope. My homie told me about that.
I
He told me
started
about it,
it.
but he told me about it. I haven't had a chance to really mess with it, but I hear Kaiju number 8 is dope.
I started it, but my manga recommendation for today is Helmet the Forsaken. I don't know if it's pronounced Helmet or Helmut.
Right.
Helmut.
Sounds German too, so yeah.
Yeah, it's the Forsaken Child. It has 38 chapters. I'll read the description for you guys. I'm gonna just call him Helmut.
Right.
Helmut was a child who has been abandoned in the demonic forest at birth. Raised by demonic beasts, the first human that he met was the Sword Saint Darien. Little did Helmut know that the chance encounter would soon shake the foundation of his fate. Grow stronger if you want to get out of here. The boy who lived like a beast was thrown into the world of humans. He possessed overwhelming swordsmanship, outstanding looks, and sharp intelligence, but there was one thing he lacked: humanity. I am no longer a prey, I am now a predator.
I'm with it. That sounds dope.
Yeah.
That's a dope synopsis.
38 chapters. Check
That's
it
a
out.
nice amount of chapters too. That's definitely at least like almost 3 volumes, almost 2 volumes right there. Something like that. So that's a lot.
It's all in color.
Oh shucks. Oh, we just upgraded now. We in color now too?
Yeah. But
jeez.
That's the episode for today. Thank you guys for coming through. Any of the topics you guys want to talk about, write in the comments below. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. And once again,